Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Glad to have you here. As Lon Strickler is here for, what the hell do we call this segment? Strange Days. Yeah, Lon's only been doing it for 3 years, but, Butch Wachowski before that. But, hey, it's me, man. I'm going to forget things sometimes. We got Swamp Dweller coming on and Little Timmy James later on. He's in studio. Best part about tonight, we have each and every one of you. I apologize. I am not feeling 100% tonight. I even skipped a half day of work today because I was feeling pukey. I never puked, but I was feeling pukey. So let's say hello to SJ in the gold medal position, Race Fan with a silver, Tim Mothman and his goatee with a bronze medal tonight, Richard Minnick, Robert Lamoth, Frankie B, Kitty Cattywhack. How y'all doing? Hippie Deidre. We're in the Birkenstocks in -2 degrees. Yeah, she's brave. JSCO, thank you for coming on in. Deidre again. Rose Demaray is here. Rose Demaray will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Carol Amerio, how are you? Miss Tessa Marie, looking lovely tonight. Galactic Disclosure Movement, welcome to SOR Chat. Ethanol. Little Lonnie Strickler's in the chat room. Yep. Yeah, he's going to be giving beard tips after the show, just so you know. He's shaking his head. He's like, shut the hell up, Dave. Bobbert, how are you? Lee the Bee, Gory Tiger, Eternity Eternal, good to see you all. D. Syfy, Les Paul Holland, Tuxin Mufon. And Mel WD-40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show, because you always want to go into a show nice and smooth. You don't want any of that rigidness when you're broadcasting. So thank you, Mel, for lubing us up. Human Carl is here, a great veteran of the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service, Human Carl. We love you. Ozzy, Operation Shutdown. Little Timmy James in the chat room. How you doing, buddy? Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. And who else do we got? Walter Kochabinski and Necessary Dialogue. And Destiny Rocks has returned. Destiny Rocks will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Al Garay over on Twitch. Yep, this man did the stair climber. You know those stair machines? The stairs just keep coming and coming. He did 3,600 stairs in 46 minutes. Yeah, he was trucking. How he held it all down, I don't know. Hey, you got aliens. Good to see you. Mama Catherine. Mwah, I love you, my dear. Thank you for your love today. Corey, Mr. Cowley, how you guys doing? As we continue on with our roll call here, there's Paramarv and Ace May. And Paramarv reminding all of you, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It helps the show. Yes, it does. J Truth Seeker. Wallet Moth over on X. Nice to see you. Hi, JMJ12. Matthew Gutka. Good to see you. Tracy Winters, looking lovely tonight. Warden Dragon, Dragonfly, and Road Flare. Ian McFadden, good morning to you. Hi, Leafy Nebula. Sir Wolf, how you doing? Hillbilly Herb. and Beverly Beatty. Nice to see you all. Oh, let's see. Oh, so Fedora John is the Emperor Penguin tonight. Yeah. How can you tell? The fedora is on the penguin. It's true. And Rock and Rory, good to see you here. And Valerie Peters, welcome to SOR chat. Let's get the radio side going. Probably a good time for that. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Lon Strickler is here from phantomsandmonsters.com, taking us down the road of dragons tonight. And we are in the middle of roll call on our YouTube side, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, because we're going to get going here momentarily. As we say hello to Zanos, Guy Calgary, T. Nick. What about your butt munches? Well, weird. Welcome to SOR chat. Sandra Kincaid, looking lovely. Gizmo, how you doing? We are caught up. The super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. And don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. Throw those horns up. Let's rock. Of Central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of pages for you. Rock out the Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our site as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have an amazing show for you tonight as Lon Strickler comes in from phantomsandmonsters.com to talk about all things about dragons. It's going to be cool. Dragon sightings. Yeah. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will be here with another creepy story. And little Timmy James will also be here with the UFO report. I love this time of the month when Lon Strickler comes on. Why? Well, that's because he's pretty damn good at what he does. He's the owner of phantomsandmonsters.com. And literally month after month, he gets hundreds, if not thousands, of stories from people just like you and me coming on in to literally tell the story of the encounter they had of seeing something strange. Whether it's Mothman, a UFO, alien abduction, ghosts, poltergeist activity, Dogman again, Sasquatch, whatever it may be, Lon has all the stories lined up for you. If you want sea monsters, go to phantomsandmonsters.com. That's where it all is, even dragons. We're going to get into that. Lon Strickler, thank you so much for coming back in 2025. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be back now. You unmuted me. Good. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. I'm that guy. I'm the mute guy. That's what I do, you know. But, geez, another year, man. Another year. Would you look back on 2024? What's your favorite story of the year? Is there a favorite story?
Not really, but it has to be, I guess, the biggest one, or the one that got me more interested was the Mothman, the guy, or the winged humanoid, the guy outside Chicago saw 3 times, took a shot at and emptied his pistol into it. That's probably the biggest one. But there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you know, it was probably the busiest year we had overall stories and overall encounters since maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, it was fairly busy, and I just had a feeling it was going to be busy. Now, as far as this coming year, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't have really any inkling or what we're going to run into, but with all this stuff that's been going on and the disclosure stuff and more coming out, and who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So, just put my ear to the ground and see what comes my way.
Well, your Philadelphia Eagles. I
Don't
mean
say
your
it.
Ravens. I'm playing you here right now.
I know you are.
Oh man, you guys can't catch a break on the Ravens, man.
I know. Well, we won 2 Super Bowls, and then it's been kind of tough ever since then. It's been some tough sledding, but yeah, we'll get there.
You need to bring Ray Lewis out of retirement.
Yeah, well, that probably wouldn't hurt. And I saw him not long ago, and he hasn't really changed a whole lot. So he could probably go out there and pick up where he left off at.
Probably be just as mean too.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I picked both losers this weekend to move on.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I had Washington because I really like that Jaden Daniels. What a quarterback.
Yeah,
and
he's going to be a good kid. He's going to be a good player.
Oh my God, that kid is so cool. He is so calm. And then I wanted KC to win, but I figured Josh Allen and Buffalo, this could be their year. So I took Buffalo, and how stupid could I be?
Well, how many Super Bowls did he go to with Kelly? Was it 4 or 5?
4.
4? And I don't know. Going 4 times and losing 4 times, my God, that's. And they still haven't won a Super Bowl after all these years. So.
And now 0-4 against Kansas City in elimination games in the playoffs.
I know.
My goodness. That starts to weigh on you. I don't care what anybody says. I've been around enough athletes over my years to know that's going to be weighing on Josh Allen going into this. Why can't I beat them? And I would really recommend a sports psychologist over that if he doesn't have one already, because that is a big one there. So either way, it's going to be a good Super Bowl in a couple weeks, and I look forward to it. I've already got my place reserved upstairs.
Well, I got a lot of Eagles fans around here, so at least they'll be happy if they win. So I won't be, but they may be.
I hear you. Lon, for people who may be tuning in for the first time, believe it or not, this is not a sports talk show or an NFL show. This is about weird and strange stories of encounters people have. Going back to when you started phantomsofmonsters.com and where you are today, man, how has it changed for you? How have the stories changed? Are they pretty much the same?
Well, it's easier to get accounts from people now. After you're doing this a while and your name's out there a bit, and you write a couple books, you do some spots on podcast and all. It's a little easier to get people to send stuff to you. So it's easier. Yeah, it's easier. I don't really have to dig as much as I used to, which is good because, quite frankly, I don't want to be digging stories out. I just have more to do, more time. I want to have more time to do something else. But I spend 4 to 6 hours a day on it. So, it's just like really having a job. But it's something I love, and I did, and I wouldn't do it.
No kidding. And I can understand that attitude, because it's the same way with this show. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't love it, because, let's face it, we have a great career, man. We literally get to talk monsters. Like you grow up and every night you and I are having campfire stories of stuff that shouldn't exist. And yet here we are. Do you ever, after all this time, just kind of shake your head and say, man, this is just way too odd to be my life right now. I mean, this is just way too incredible.
No, not really. I mean, I pretty well know what to expect, and nothing really surprises me anymore. The weirder it gets, probably the more I like it, but it just gives me something to look into. So yeah, I do enjoy having people reach out, and every once in a while I'll get an opportunity to to showcase what I do somehow, get a TV show or do a certain interview or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean it's not like having a job. I mean, to me, I mean it's just something I enjoy. I've always enjoyed it. It's been a part of the paranormal has been a part of my life. It's just that I took the experience that I had from all those years and kind of put it into the blog and then went from there. So yeah, the blog. This is my 20th year in the blog now. So I've been doing the paranormal for 45 years.
You're still having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, how can you not? So with that fun, what topic would you like to delve more into? Which topic would you like? Because you deal with all sorts of weird, strange cases, man, and you've had reports of literally, purple people eaters to the MC Hammer pants that are dancing around California. You know what I'm saying? You've had it all. What do you like best? Do you like the ones? I know you're a Mothman guy, especially the Chicago Mothman. Let's put that aside here. But for all the weird, strange creatures that you have seen, do you ever think, man, I'd love to get more of those in there, like Goat Man, Frog Man, whatever it may be?
I guess the thing I look forward to more than anything is getting something new. Our big flap, just like when we fell into Chicago, that kind of fell into our laps, and we just went and ran with it, and something like that. I mean, if I get another big flap of something that has is different, it needs to be taken apart and be presented to the public in a certain way. Yeah, I kind of look forward to that. So, the weirder the better, but or the more unexplained the better. That's kind of what I look forward to.
Here's the thing. I mean, at times some of these creatures that you cover are like right out of the cartoon Monsters Inc., man.
Yeah.
Like, do you think they're hiding in people's closets, looking for that scream, or what do you think? Like, I guess what I'm going to reverse that to is, how do you define some of these really weird creatures that have only been seen once or twice and compare them to, say, something that has been seen rapidly over the last number of years?
Well, the only thing I can say or equate it to is that we really don't know what we're dealing with as far as reality in these creatures, quite frankly. We're pretty sure a lot of them are not on our Earth plane constantly. We believe a lot of the either cryptids or some other type of creatures of some type are come here by means that we just don't really understand. We can put all the theories we want out there, but there's will we ever figure out what's going on? I don't know. I hope so, but it's just that we, at this point now, all we can do is take as much evidence as we possibly can, kind of take a leap of faith and hope that we come up with something. That's pretty well the whole crypto world right there.
Do you think these creatures are actually living here, or if they are in a different dimension, a different timeline? Maybe we're seeing into the past.
Oh, I think there's a lot of different caveats there. I mean, they could be coming from somewhere else. They could be coming from either another dimension or another reality of some type. It's hard to tell. I mean, quite frankly, it's really hard to tell. But I think I think we're getting closer as time has gone on. I think more investigators, even those who've been around as long as I have, if not longer, kind of realize that there are just a lot we just can't explain, and that hopefully we will one day get it. But there you go. I mean, that's all I can really say about it. It's just that hopefully the evidence will come up to the point where we really do get some type of concrete answers as to what these beings are, why they're showing up, So all I can say is I just hope we do get some answers at some point.
Over the last 3 years that you've been doing this show on a monthly basis, I know I've asked you this question at least a dozen times, but our audience members are always changing, and I want to make sure that everybody kind of gets a feel, because you get inundated with stories that are out there, and some of them are weird and strange, some of them are not, but you also get the hoaxers out there trying to, lead you on a wild goose chase for something that maybe you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
You've been doing this long enough where you can spot red flags on this stuff. How many hoaxes do you get a month, and how do you notice them?
Not as much as I used to. Why that is, I don't know. I don't know if people just believe that I can kind of flesh it out and figure that they're trying to pull the wool over my eyes. I don't know. But, when I first started the blog and started collecting information from people, I had a lot of people trying to play games with me. And I think everybody, all of us get that. That's just the way it is. But over recent years, and I think ever since we got involved with Chicago since then, I think it's been much lesser degree of shenanigans as far as witnesses or false witnesses. And we do get a few, but they're pretty easy to flesh out.
So which one of the stupidest ones that you've got from somebody trying to,
Oh my God,
pull over your eyes?
I had some woman get a hold of me about, it's been a while now. But she tried to convince me that a Bigfoot raped her. And she was insistent too. In fact, she almost got me believing her. But I caught her actually talking to somebody who contacted me and told me what she had said. So it was kind of an inside joke with them, but I guess they got to the point where they got tired of hearing her talk about it. But she had me on the string for about 2 weeks, I think. I didn't come forward with it, thank God, but that type of thing. And also I've had a few abduction scenarios where it just didn't make a whole lot of sense many times. And were they telling me the truth or not? I don't know. I didn't believe them, but you get a lot of that. So, but like I said before, I mean, as of the past decade or so, it hasn't really been that bad, but you will get one once in a while. And of course, I got a lot of crank callers. That's just par for the course. But it still happens, but it's not to the degree it used to be.
So when you get a prank call, I'm curious, what's that like? Hey man, we got your Mothman here.
Well, they're usually, I've had people say that they were the Mothman and that they were calling me. I've had that happen before. It's usually just kids doing it. I mean, every once in a while you'll get some drunk on there, and him and his buddies are just trying to pull my chain. But yeah, I can usually spot it pretty quickly.
Oh man,
some of them are pretty hilarious though.
But I guess that it's par for the course.
That's par for the course.
You have to be able to have a little bit of a thicker skin to, put up with that.
Yeah, well, you put yourself out there for people to contact you, so you are opening yourself up for a lot of crap. There's no doubt about that. But I've gotten through it, and yeah, you do have to have a thick skin sometimes. I think the biggest thing you have to have more of a thick skin for is when you do report on something and people want to doubt everything you're doing, and then you're getting a lot of questions. And it used to bother me that people wouldn't believe me or believe my witness. But, I kind of let it roll off my back now, and I just don't let it bother me anymore.
What do you love about dragons?
It's something that we just don't really expect to get reports of, but occasionally we will. And this investigation that we're going to talk about just came to me today. I didn't know anything about it, and we'll go into deeper detail about it. But the person who contacted me was Richard Freeman. Of course, a lot of cryptid people know who Richard Freeman is, and his association with John Downs and Fortean Zoology Center and all that. And he got a case that he's been working on for about a year, where there have been several witnesses come forward saying that they had seen a dragon-like creature on a number of occasions. And the location where they have been seeing it is the Waverley Abbey, which is, I think it's just south of Surrey. So it's not far from London. But he's been looking into that. He did an article, a very, very good article, which I sent to you. And he's kind of detailing a lot of it and got into a few specifics. And they used other cases to kind of hammer home the point of what people have been describing. But it's really not a whole lot different than what I have received. And, we'll go ahead and talk about that then.
Yeah, I mean, we got 90 seconds to go here before we go to break. You don't hear a lot of dragon stories. I mean, those are from, you hear it all about medieval times and prior to that with dragons flying around and everything. My goodness, the only dragons that I have seen are when my mom used to take me to the Chinese celebration parades in Vancouver. And they, where I understood how cool they were, they used to scare me as a kid. They would scare me, but I mean, it is a beautiful art form nonetheless. But I just, outside of a dragonfly, I don't really, or a bearded dragon or a Komodo dragon. Is there any other dragons I'm missing? I don't think so.
Yeah, flying dragons, flying huge dragons aren't something you really expect to hear about, but or wyverns or anything like that. But I have had a couple of reports over the years, and the fact that now that Richard's looking into this, who's a well-respected zoologist and cryptozoologist, I'm looking forward to what he comes up with later and some of the more evidence he picks up.
Well, we're going to get into the dragon story coming up in the next half hour with Lon Strickler on Strange Days. Lon has an incredible website called phantomsandmonsters.com. It's, to me, one of the best. If you want to get your story out there and try and figure out what you saw, what happened to you, Lon Strickler is the guy to do it. He comes in once a month for a segment we call Strange Days. We'll be right back with the second half hour with Lon. All right, Lon, we're clear.
Okay.
All right. Prank phone calls. Hey, Lon Strickler, come ride our dragon. Should never told me that, Lon.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Oh, I bet it does. Oh.
Usually happens when I'm busy doing something, getting involved with something, and somebody will call me and I'll lose my train of thought. That's what really pisses me off when that happens.
Wes Decker, a.k.a. Area 53. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. That is a psyop from those their camouflage, you know. But thank you for the lovely super chat. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, Jason, as well. MJ, how you doing? Who else am I missing here? Got Dragonfly. Dragon Balls. What the hell are... Yeah, well, sometimes you do. You know, when you get old. Puff the Magic Dragon. He lived by the sea. In a land called Hunnalee. Little Jackie Paper. My goodness. Did they ever ruin that for us? Mennonite Abe, good to see you. Yep. I think we're caught up. Yes, when we return on Spaced Out Radio, Lon Strickler is going to teach us how to tame your dragon. Yeah. Hillbilly Herb, I could Ogopogo. I will not swim in Okanagan Lake because of Ogopogo. I won't. I did once, just to say I have, but I won't swim there. It's like literally, Ogopogo is a very deep lake. It is black water. Yeah, because it's literally like a lot of people don't realize, like when you get into the mountains there, the lakes are just where the mountains go down.
Yeah.
And water filled. It has nothing to do with the fact that, oh, we're going to put a little pretty lake here in Mother Nature. No, nothing like that. No, it's dark. It's deep. What is it, like 600 feet at point? How deep is Okanagan Lake? Oh, now I got to translate that.
You know, I think Okanagan is probably one of the few lakes where I actually believe there's maybe something in there.
I had one guy from Kelowna talking about the Ogopogo, and he believes that the you know what? I'm going to save that story for a second because, let's see here, meters to feet. So length is 232 meters, 761 feet in depth. Okanagan Lake is 232 meters at its deepest point, so 761 feet.
That's about a fifth of a mile.
Yeah. See, what people don't know is that there is water tunnels all through those mountains. Yeah. And they believe that the Ogopogo can actually, well, there is a channel that goes between Okanagan Lake and Skaha Lake, which there have been Ogopogo sightings in Skaha Lake. But between Kalamalka Lake, there's underwater tunnels as well. So that thing could be all over the place, to be blunt. Yeah. Joanne, how are you? God, I love it when I'm caught up. Drifting Wood, what's happening? Just makes me feel good that I've said hello to everybody. Jason, thank you again for number 2 there. All right. Yeah, I've got a new STD called cryptoids. What the fuck? Where does that even come from? My goodness. I'm going to put it up there. Adam B., welcome to SOR chat. First time the algorithm got you here tonight. Well, we're glad you're here, Adam. Thank you. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store on our website. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You can wear our stuff out in public and be proud of it. Tim James was supposed to wear his tonight, but he forgot. Yeah, I'm going to not let you have that one. Here we go, Lon.
Thank you.
Here we go, the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We have Lon Strickler from phantomsandmonsters.com on the show. We call this show Strange Days. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. From phantomsandmonsters.com, Lon Strickler is here. We're getting into dragons tonight. Now, Lon, I don't see a lot of dragons flying around the sky these days, but you get reports of them.
Yeah, I have had several reports. And in fact, as I mentioned to you earlier, I have had 3 reports come out of New Jersey alone. And I don't know what about New Jersey and flying creatures is, but apparently people have seen those things out there, and I will talk about that later. But I've had reports over the years. I think I have one in there from California where this thing was seen twice. One in Washington State, and there have been a few other smaller sightings, but this is a phenomenon that doesn't come up often. And in Chicago, in fact, we have had, I think, 2 sightings in Chicago.
Really?
So, yeah. And I don't know if they were dragons or not, but they were big and they were flying, and the witnesses seemed to believe that's what they looked like. So, who knows?
What do you think people are seeing?
I don't know. That I don't know. I mean, I can't believe that it's something that is with us all the time. Now, is it a portal traveler? Maybe. Is it something that is as a part of a time slip? Alternate reality? Parallel universe? It's really hard to tell. It's just like what we've been dealing with the winged humanoids. People see them come manifest out of thin air, and then you actually see them vanish into thin air. So, when you start getting reports like that with any type of cryptid or anything in general, you got to start thinking that there is something supernatural about them, let alone that it's a dragon or a winged humanoid that is not really part of the fauna. So, at this point, we really don't know what it is. But, we get, a lot of cryptids have those capabilities, or according to the witness, have those capabilities.
Well, let's start with this story here.
Okay.
Because you got this email from British cryptozoologist Richard Freeman, who you mentioned in the last half hour. I'm going to read this email that you received, if you don't mind, Lon.
Sure.
I figure since you put it in public, you wouldn't mind.
No. Sorry.
It says, "Hi, Lon. I thought you might be interested in this case for the Phantoms and Monsters site. It involves a mass witness sighting of dragons in England a little over a year ago. It's an ongoing investigation, and I'll be going back to the area again. All the best, Richard." The dragon is the granddaddy of all monsters, the great granddaddy, that is. Forget about the demons, vampires, and zombies. The dragon predates all of these, and indeed all the other monsters. The earliest dragon legends have been traced to South Africa and date back some 75,000 years. The most powerful, ancient, and widespread monster appears in every culture and every country on Earth. Great Britain alone has had over 100 dragon legends. Many UK dragon stories feature the beast appearing out of the blue, terrorizing an area, then simply vanishing as mysteriously as it appeared. There is no hero or damsel in distress. The dragons of Wormingford in Suffolk, Anwick in Lincolnshire, and Cawthorne, Yorkshire, one second here, there we go, are examples of these. They sound very like modern day accounts of mystery animals that turn up, scare, and baffle witnesses before vanishing again. Contemporary documents like the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle record sightings of dragons which are quite distinct from comets and are recorded as something different. Over the years, many theories of what lies behind dragon lore have been offered. The fossil bones of dinosaurs and other huge extinct animals, meetings with huge crocodiles and pythons, or even a metaphor for energies running through the earth. None of them really cut the mustard as an explanation for the dragon phenomena. Most people, at least in the West, where are we here, would like to think that the dragon is a culture or a creature of folklore with no basis in reality. Yet people all over the world claim to have encountered dragons in the modern age. I've been collecting these accounts for some time. Here are just a few. In Namibia, there is a tradition of a giant winged serpent that has a glowing gem in its horned head. One of the most dramatic sightings was in 1978 when a French farmer was tending his cattle in the Caris region when he saw a bright white light heading straight towards him. Then afterward, he heard a massive thud and he heard one of his cattle cry out in pain. As he rushed to check on what attacked the cow, he saw a dragon. He told the local police, "I saw what looked like as the best matching description I could give you is that it looked like a dragon. It had a yellow bright light on its head, or a white bright light, pardon me, on its head, which was blinding me. The color of it was brown and yellow. It had green nostrils. There was a tar-like smell coming from it, and it had smoke coming out of its nostrils." Oh, man, we got to talk about this one, Lon. That is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I had heard that one. 1978. I actually did an AI reconstruction of that description, and I sent it to Richard. So I don't know if he's going to use it or not, but that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about it? I doubt this guy made it up, but who knows?
I mean, you would see these things attacking farm animals like a cow. That would make sense because it has to feed or whatever. But I mean, a condor or any great bird is not going to take down a cow.
No.
It's too big. I mean, a goat, yes. I mean, because we see the great birds, whether it's a condor or the golden eagles or albatross or whatever it may be, take down some big animals. But I don't see them taking down a cow, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That just scares me. Absolutely scares me. Let's continue on with this story because this story is pretty cool. In Namibia, there is a tradition of a giant winged serpent.
You already did that.
That's what I just did. Sorry. Viking folklore is full of dragon legends, so the next account should come as no surprise. In 2010, the Icelandic volcano, I'm not even going to pronounce its name, erupted, spewing out titanic amounts of cloud of ash into the atmosphere and grounding planes for weeks. One local man was watching the eruption, saw something flying about the volcano. He realized that what he saw must have been huge due to the great distance from which he was observing it from. At first, he thought it was a plane until he saw wings flapping. In an email to Lars Thomas, the Danish biologist and cryptozoologist, he said the following: "As I see it, there are only two possible explanations. Either I was imagining the whole thing, or what I saw was, in fact, a dragon. I find that very hard to believe, but then again, I don't think I could imagine something like that." I mean, that is incredible.
Yeah, I do remember that. There wasn't a whole lot said about it at the time, but I do remember that when it happened. And but I didn't really hear a whole lot after that.
Could you imagine? I mean, that's right out of a movie, though.
Yeah.
Staring up at a volcano erupting, and you see the shadowy image of a dragon coming out of it. I mean, that's just right out of Hollywood.
Yeah, well, some of these stories are pretty hard to believe, but they are pretty incredible as well.
All right. Well, let's take on another one here. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, I think that would be.
Yeah.
Gunung Kansing, a mountain in the province of Lampung, Western Java, was thought to be the lair of a dragon the locals called Ular Naga, or dragon snake. It was described as resembling a huge snake with a horse-like head and bat's wings. The monster terrorized Persawaran village people for years. It stole and ate children, often attacking in broad daylight. The beast would snatch the children whilst the parents were busy in the fields. One village elder, Darga, said the dragon was seen almost daily. In the end, the villagers blocked up the entrance to the cave where they thought the creature lurked. After that, the killing stopped, but the people were so scared that they mostly abandoned their homes and moved to other villages. I mean, that one I could, maybe take as a, if I have my skeptical cap on, I could take that as a large bird taking children. But we're not there.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same thing. It was probably a misidentification, something that they thought was more supernatural than not. And it was probably just a huge bird that was very rare, or was the only one of its kind, or had flown in from somewhere. But yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly know the fauna in Java, but Malaysia and Indonesia, there's a lot of different and weird things that we just don't really know about. They show up. A lot of legends of particularly hominids. But the fact there was a large bird or creature that was described as being a dragon might have got lost in the translation somehow. But quite frankly, it's an interesting story.
It is an interesting story. And if you add to it, Lon, that there are many people from Papua New Guinea and a lot of those eastern island regions of Australia and Asia, they claim that they see pterodactyls that they call the ropen flying around. That ropen has been seen in Texas, northern Mexico, up here to British Columbia. People in Texas claim to have seen little mini T-Rexes running around, as well as miniature Velociraptors running around.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got reports of all those, and yeah, the pterosaur type creatures, there's something to that, because there's just too many sightings. I mean, quite honestly, there's just way too many sightings of these things. And I don't, the way people do describe them, they do describe them as looking like prehistoric birds or dinosaurs. And maybe it's true, but who knows?
How much stock do you put in the whole dinosaur dragon aspect? And we're going to get to more stories here in just a little bit.
I think there is a possibility. But we do get a lot of reports in the desert areas of the United States, Texas, up into the Southwest and up as far as Utah. We had a lot of sightings in Utah and Montana of little T-Rexes. We've had small T-Rexes seen down in the southern part of Texas, south of San Antonio, down the whole way to Laredo. There have been several, actually. So, but as far as the pterosaurs, well, there's the story of the Van Meter visitor from Iowa, which very well could have been a pterosaur-like creature. That's the book that Chad Lewis wrote, the Van Meter Visitor. It's an excellent book, and I've talked to him twice on my show about it, and I always like talking about it with him. I find it fascinating. But people swear that this thing, and in fact, they've had pictures of this thing. So, and from other people I've talked to over the years who have investigated these pterosaur sightings, I do believe there may be something to it.
Well, let's continue on with the dragons here. And let's go. The late, great Fortean researcher and a good friend of Spaced Out Radios, Linda Godfrey, God bless her, was contacted by witnesses who claimed to have seen dragons in Wisconsin in 2007. One man that she calls Jim told her that on October 7th, 2007, in Oconto Falls, he and some of his friends had attended a concert. Well, they must have been good hippie lettuce there, let me tell you. They were lying on top of their vans. Oh, we got a van now. You know where this story is going. By the river. It's down by the river, right? Anyways, they got on top of their vans and on the grass looking up at the sky when they saw something strange. All of them did. A ball of orange and blue fire shot across the sky, followed by something even weirder, Jim said. We knew it had to be a dragon because how else would you describe something flying over that was almost silent, larger than a plane, had a tail, bat-like wings, long neck, and a narrow pointed head with scales? I remember noticing the scales because they dimly reflected the streetlights below. We thought we were all seeing things, but 5 minutes later, it flew over again, this time in the opposite direction. Linda was later in contact with Jim's mother, whom she referred to as Janet. Jim had phoned his mom for a lift and told her what he had seen. Janet thought her son was joking and went to pick him up. She noticed a shadow crossing a parking lot, then saw a fireball, blue with orange around it, shooting from east to west in the sky. Jim told her that he and his friends had seen the same thing before the dragon had arrived. Janet then drove her son home. Linda also spoke to Jim's sister, Jill. Jim had been had talked to her into staying up. The pair lay on a trampoline in their backyard looking into the sky. They saw a fireball shooting east to west, followed quickly by one moving west to east. They then heard a loud screech that caused all the local dogs to bark. Then the dragon returned. The creature was flying only about 20 feet above their two-story house. After looking at pictures of pterosaurs, they saw that the wing structure was very different. The family also saw similar smaller dragons that they looked to be in the younger of the larger ones. The smaller creatures seemed to be playing by circling each other, Jill said. I don't care what the scientists say, it was not a pterodactyl. I could see it had pearly pale scales, and the fireball came from its mouth. They were beautiful and flew gracefully. I could see they had 4 legs too. They were tucked up underneath them like when birds fly. That just blows me away. And I don't know if I would buy this one, Lon, if it wasn't for the late great Linda Godfrey, who was, for people who don't know her, she was a professional journalist in the Wisconsin area, broke the story of the Beast of Bray Road that really, really had the legend of Dogman take off. And, you can actually even go into one of her books and see a story of mine in there. I don't know if you knew that one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But if it was anybody else, I don't know if I would buy it. But Linda, I would trust on that because I know as a journalist, she would have done her homework.
Yeah, she was very meticulous. And Linda, no, there was no BS about Linda. So, yeah, if she didn't think there was something to it, she wouldn't have written about it.
I agree. But what do you think that was though, man? Like at first it's one dragon, then it's a couple dragons with a bunch of babies flying around. You got a family full of dragons there shooting fireballs at each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what really to make of it. The fact that it was up in Wisconsin, and maybe it was something that they misidentified as a pterosaur actually, but the fact that the fire, I don't know what they saw. But Wisconsin, of course, Illinois, and the upper Midwest have all had sightings of these type of creatures over the years. And I kind of believe there was something to it since she reported it.
The other thing that always makes me wonder is the Great Lakes have great mysteries.
Right.
Okay, from sea monsters to the Witch of November to UFOs, underwater bases, even sharks being seen in the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could we have dragons living under the water there too in caves or?
Well, there's been especially in Lake Michigan, there's been a lot of theories about a lot of different phenomena, underwater submerged objects, UFOs. We had people, when we started with this thing in Chicago, people were telling us that they had seen things very similar coming out of the lake at some point. I remember getting reports of reptilian humanoids being seen on the lake shore on both sides, on the Michigan and Illinois side. Years ago, I got reports of that. Honestly, after doing this as long as I have, and as many accounts that I have received and people I've talked to, honestly, nothing surprises me anymore. And you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt, but there's something there. Many times when people tell you about it, that you got to believe they thought they saw something.
I would agree with you on that, my friend. Agree with you. We got 90 seconds to go here. The amount of witnesses that this one allegedly had, I mean, concert, van, staring up at the sky. I mean, to me, that tells me that there was more than just pot smoked there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So how do you rule that out? Because I'm pretty sure that would have been something Linda would have asked.
Oh, she would have asked. If there had been drugs involved, she'd have put it in there. Absolutely.
Your opinion of that? You think there was a little hippie lettuce going on? Maybe
it
a
may
little
have been,
devil
but,
snakes?
It's kind of hard to get people to see the same thing and with the same description because, everything's relative. I mean, everybody's got their own perception of what they see. And when they come up with the same description, several people, it kind of makes you think that something was there. They saw something that they couldn't explain.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know how I would react to seeing a dragon, And the thing is, the way life is, I mean, they could pop up anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's a very powerful answer by a very powerful man, Lon Strickler. Right. When you have the beard of knowledge like Lon does, you can just give that answer right there and just cruise along. This is a man who is cruising at 85 in the fast lane right now, people. We love him. Lon Strickler, phantomsandmonsters.com. We have him for another hour here on Spaced Out Radio. More dragon talk, more weird creatures, and we'll try and get into some audience questions as well. Take care. We'll be back for hour number 2 right now. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, Lon, we're clear. And I'm going to put you in the back. Do a quick break here, okay?
Yeah, get another bagel.
All right. No, I'm full now.
Okay.
Be right back, everybody. All right, I'm back. Let's bring Lon back in here. All right. Sunmaster, welcome to SOR chat. And who else do we have here? Anybody else new pop in here? No. I think we're good. If you have any questions for Lon here in hour number 2, Please put them in capital letters. I will get them to Lon tonight. May, how are you? Good to see you. Don't forget, if you're new, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and make sure you talk pretty about us. And we got about a minute to go here, Lon.
Sure.
Thank you tonight to Gizmo, Jason ×2, and Area 53 for the super chats. Greatly appreciate it. DOG, welcome to SOR chat. And I think that's about it. Bring out the dragon, says Human Carl. He wants more dragon talk. Human Carl's having fun tonight. Don't forget, you can join us in Las Vegas May 1st to 5th. I'm going to be there. Little Timmy James going to be there. Merle's going to be there. Robbie G's going to be there. Jim Goodall's coming. We'll see who else is coming. The Dweller, how you doing? Here we go. Here we go in the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for being weird and tuning us in, because we like being weird with you. It's okay to be weird in today's day and age. Hey, I want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Zabrini. Zabrini is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Here's Lon Strickler from phantomsandmonsters.com. He comes in once a month near the end to talk about all things weird and strange. Tonight we are talking about dragons. Yes, dragons. Lon, welcome back.
Good to be here, Dave.
Good to have you here. And, we're talking dragons here, so let's get to the next story. I think we should probably do that. What do you think?
That sounds good to me.
All right. Let's go here. We're going to continue. This is a long email that your friend sent you.
Yeah, it was a pretty descriptive narrative on dragons, and he put a lot in there.
Yep. How about this one? On December 27th, 2023, there was a multiple witness sighting of dragons at Waverley Abbey near Farnham in Surrey, Great Britain, not British Columbia. And I am conducting an ongoing investigation into this case. John Downs first alerted me to the case. A group of 10 people, ghost hunters from the South Coast Ghost Group, had been at the Abbey conducting a ghost research on the evening in question when all of them saw something very strange. They were flying creatures. The Abbey itself was founded in 1128 by Bishop William Gifford and was a functioning Cistercian abbey until it fell victim to Henry VIII's dissolution in 1536. I arranged to interview one of the witnesses at the site itself, and together with fellow Fortean Janky Tonks, traveled to Surrey. The witness was a Polish lady named Dora. She and her friends were explorers. No, I'm kidding. I had to. She and her mother met us at the Abbey, and we interviewed her. The group had been using a Ouija board. Oh, here we go. They had been using a Ouija board in the cloister of the abbey at about 9 in the evening. The planchette had spelled out the name Zozo. Oh, here we go. For those of you not in the know, Zozo was a supposed demonic entity contacted by American Daryl Evans in 2009. Darren subsequently claimed the entity was behind all kinds of havoc in his life. He recorded the story on the site True Ghost Tales. Zozo became somewhat of an internet meme for a while and even had a horror film made about it. The name first appeared in an 1816 book, The Infernal Dictionary by Jacques-Auguste Simon Collin de Plancy. It is one of the three entities supposed to have possessed a girl. However, the author rejects the story as false because the girl had previously been punished for false claims of demonic possession. As the modern story can be traced back to one man, Darren Evans, this story probably a hoax, and Zozo has no more reality than the Slender Man, the Rake, or the Dybbuk box. After ending the Ouija session, the group tried table turning on a portable table with fold-up legs. Whilst their hands were on the table, it shook violently and the legs snapped shut. The group then moved over to a large yellow tree in the grounds of the abbey. Now it was about 10 in the evening. Glancing over to some woods around 200 meters or 650 feet away, Dora saw a large flying creature emerge, bank around in the air, then dive back into the woods. Its wings were bat-like, about 10 meters or 33 feet across, measured against the trees. None of the others saw this. Then another smaller creature flew in to view much closer. Dora said it was man-sized, about 6 feet long, with about a 10-foot wingspan. Again, the wings were bat-like. It seemed to be dark brown in color. The creature landed on the ruins of the abbey at the south transept. She did not get a look at the head of the creature, but saw a long tail that ended with an arrowhead at the point. The beast then flew off. The geese in a nearby river were screaming at the time. She produced a rough sketch of what she saw. Dora admitted that being very frightened at the time. She said, "I did not believe in dragons, but now I certainly do." She was still frightened when Jackie and I spoke with her, thinking that the entities were demonic. I explained to her that dragons were thousands of years older than the Christians or indeed any conceptions of demons. Some days later, I arranged to talk to some other people, witnesses on a Zoom call. Darren Graham said that the group met at about 7 in the evening to ghost hunt at the Abbey. On the way in from the car park, he saw two white lights in the sky that shot away very fast. In the cloisters, he was using a 3 field meter MK3 to detect static fields. The meter was in the words "going mad." They then went to another part of the Abbey. Later, when they did the Ouija board session, one guy thought his late mother was trying to contact him, though Darren was skeptical of this. Another member, Lucas Sturgis, caught a glimpse of two dark things swooping in and about the sky. He also felt that the thing coming through the board was demonic and not the other member's mother. During the table tipping, the table was thrown about violently and they felt uneasy. The group moved to the yew tree and tried to use the board again. A member called Nigel wanted to try the board again under the tree. The geese started to make noise. Then another member cried out, "Look at that!" About 100 feet away above the ruins and flying towards them was a big bat-like creature. Darren said it was long and back and made a fruit bat look tiny. Its body was about 6 feet long, and he estimated the wings to be about 8 feet across. As it drew closer, it turned its long head to look at them, then turned on its axis and flew back the way it came. Nigel said Zozo was on the board when the creature appeared, though. I'm not inclined to give any relevance to what was being seen. Darren said the wings were bat-like and were adamant that the thing was not a goose, swan, heron, or cormorant. He thought he saw legs under the body, but could not be sure. He did not notice eyes, as the creature did not open its mouth. He saw no teeth. Nobody wanted to investigate any closer. He said that it was useless to try and use his camera as it was dark. He said, I thought about every other option. It's not something normal that would have been around at night. Julia Pooley said she was in the cloisters, when she thought she heard children's voices calling her mom. The geese made a noise. When they moved to the tree, she heard somebody say, "Look at that." Looking up, she saw what she thought was a bat circling and thought, "My God, that's the biggest bat I've ever seen." The creature's wings looked bat-like, but did not beat as fast as a bat's. The wings moved more like a bird's, despite being structured like a bat's. It had long tail with a long, thin head. The creature looked back, but when caught in the moonlight or by torchlight, it was silver in color. Something was trailing under it, maybe legs. The creature landed in the yew tree before taking off again, and a second one flew by the ruins. She tried to take a picture on her phone, but all she got was a whitish blob. She said, if it had bat wings rather than bird wings, I've not seen anything like it. It looked podgy when in the tree, but long and slender in flight. Julia felt afraid of the creatures and felt they could easily swoop down and kill her. Let's just pause right there and get your opinion on this, Lon.
Well, the fact that there was some activity on the Ouija board, of course you got to take into account that maybe there was some type of supernatural involved with this. I'm not saying Zozo or was the demon that apparently came through the board, but there may have been something. They may have opened something up. Now, I'm very familiar with Ouija boards and what people have experienced by the many accounts that I have received and my own unfortunate incident with a Ouija board at one point. I do believe it's very possible that the use of divination, especially a Ouija board, could actually open a rift up. Now, if that's the case, did these creatures actually fly through a rift, a time rift, or a rift to another world? I mean, it's, that being said, it seems more logical than just seeing some type of huge creature. It looks like a dragon and nothing else had happened. But since you have this other activity going on, maybe there's something to that.
I don't know. I mean, do you think, though, the fact that the Ouija board allegedly spelled out Zozo, that this had anything to do with dragons, maybe of the demonic variety?
I guess it's possible. I interviewed Darren Evans and Rosemary Ellen Guiley. They wrote a book together about the Zozo case. And, Rosemary, the fact that she put a lot of work into that and she did believe Darren, and she did witness some things, if you read the book and what she told me in the interview, that was kind of hard to explain. Now, was it a demon? I don't know. Was it a supernatural being? Possible. But did it have the strength to open up a rift, to open up a doorway, a portal at some point? I don't know. But it has to be asked.
Do you think the Ouija board had that much power?
Absolutely. I do. From the things that I have witnessed and heard in the past, I believe they hold a lot of energy. And I think it's entirely possible.
I think it's possible too. With the Ouija board, you never know with who's using it, what they're trying to accomplish with it, or what wants to come out because certain people are using it.
Yeah, it could have been like a concentration of energy all at once at a location that was possibly had stored energy, the Ouija board, and then opening something up. It was like a mix of everything, and the worst of all three worlds, or both worlds, and something occurred as a result of it. It's not. It doesn't shock me, quite honestly, because these flying creatures, these flying beings, they do seem to be able to go through some type of portal type, I don't know, aperture at some point. I've had people tell me what they've seen, in the past, even in Chicago, with these winged creatures, these winged humanoids. So maybe it's on the same premise as that. It's something I'd have to think about. And honestly, I would really have to interview the witnesses myself. Hopefully, maybe at some point I will be able to do that. I don't know. I have to talk to Richard about this, but it's interesting to me. There's something, I believe there's something may have transpired because of what they were doing.
Here's my thing with it. The fact that there was a ghost hunting team that saw these, to me, gives it a little bit more credence, because they were there for an investigation. They were stirring things up on location, and they got action.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't control that action. I could tell you from last year, when we brought out a Ouija board in the forest at Flight 21, the Sasquatch that were surrounding us, they did not like that.
Yeah.
They did not like that at all. And I don't think the spirits that were around it either. And so we immediately put it away, but everything was stirred up. And probably within 20 minutes of that, we were out of there.
Yeah, divination can do that. I mean, almost any type of divination can do that. Ouija board in particular, but just out of experience and accounts and people I've talked to, I'm not really surprised by this. Of course, a scientist, would he understand that? Maybe, but someone who has been involved with this as long as I have been, and as much as I've heard and what I've experienced in the past, this would not surprise me at all. Can't hear you, Dave.
Let's continue on with this story, Lon.
Okay.
As we go to the next person, Luke Sturgis. Now, he said he did not get a good look at the creatures. He did see they had bat wings, and when one landed in the U, he could see a silvery eye shine as it looked up at him. Luke Gosling said that he was at the hanging tree, the old U, engaging in table tipping when he thought he saw a bat. It soon resolved into a bass flying animal with a 10-foot wingspan and a long tail. It had a long neck and a pointed head. The creature flew into the tree. When he shone his torch at it, he saw the long tail with the arrow pointed, or the arrowhead point on the end. He produced a sketch of the creature showing its bat-like wings and long tail. He was convinced it was not any kind of bird. I was impressed by the lack of exaggeration in the witnesses' accounts. There were no gnashing teeth or flaming breath. They just reported what they saw with no dressing. As Darren said, they were looking for ghosts. Dragons were the last thing they expected to see. Neither is there a dragon legend associated with the Abbey. I had decided that Jackie Tonks and I needed to meet with some more of the witnesses at the Abbey to try and recreate what the group was doing on that night. Not every one of those original 10 witnesses could make it, but Darren, Julie, Dora, and the two Lukes were able to join us before sunset at the Abbey. We saw a large heron fishing nearby, and Darren confirmed that the flying creature he saw looked nothing like it. As darkness fell, we had a Ouija board session. The planchette indicated that a dragon would manifest that night, but then degenerated into nonsense. I'm skeptical about Ouija boards, as in my experience, they seldom make sense. Later, we tried table turning with a small fold-up table. Several of us lightly put our hands on the surface of the table. It began to tremble and jerk after a while, and then would rise up on two, then one leg, and spin around. I failed to see how this was happening naturally, as we were not gripping the sides, but just gently laying our fingers upon it. A little later, I glanced at the tree some 250 meters or 820 feet away. This was not the same tree line that Doris saw the huge bat-winged entity. For a split second, I saw a black shape that seemed to fall into the trees from above. I could not make out a shape. It was just a black mass. However, it was visible against the night sky and would have had to be of a decent size for me to see it from so far away. Shortly after, from the same general area, came a very strange noise that I can best describe as a moaning growl. It was unlikely any animal that was wild or indeed any livestock I had ever heard of. I make no claim that this was a dragon vocalizing or indeed that it was paranormal. I just couldn't identify it. While walking near the transept sometime later, I saw a small bright golden light about the size of a pea. It whizzed past my face about 3 feet away, dragging a comet-like trail behind it. The sighting only lasted a couple of seconds. Nothing further happened that night, and we finally left at about midnight. So what is occurring at Waverly Abbey? There seems to be several phenomena: weird creatures, strange lights, poltergeist-like activity, all occurring in a way that may be a new window area. John Downs thinks that this may be the most important UK Fortean flap since the Owlman saga. I think that this is highly unlikely that the witnesses were lying. They seemed genuinely scared by what they had seen. They were looking for ghosts, and dragons were the last thing on their minds. Could they have been mistaken for large birds? Britain's largest native bird, the great bustard, can have a wingspan of 8 feet 10 inches and weigh in at 46 pounds. They were found only in Wiltshire in the UK, and there are about 100 of them living there after a reintroduction program. Other large birds in the UK include mute and whooper swans, golden and white-tailed eagles, common cranes, gray herons, European eagle owls, and Canadian geese. Yes, our Air Force is there. Yeah. But none of those have bat-like wings or long tails ending in narrow or arrow-shaped points. So that's very interesting, this entire thing.
I got to say, Richard's a very serious investigator. John Downs is also a very serious investigator, and they take cryptozoology very seriously, even zoology. And the fact that he had some type of response on the table and the Ouija board, and he made note of it, that just fortifies a lot of what I said earlier, I believe.
You get certain locations out there that just absolutely tend to have weird things happen, Lon.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not surprising to me, hearing these tales. Do I believe it? I think they saw something.
Yeah, I do too.
And I think they probably saw what they saw. But the question is, what unlocked it? You know, when we were investigating Flight 21 in 2023, and I know people are sick and tired of me mentioning Flight 21, but when we were there and I was doing the Estes method, I was trying for vocal communication. I ended up seeing something in the blindfold that was proven when we put the camera up. The orb that I was seeing inside the blindfold where I was blinded, they were looking at an orb in the sky coming down towards us at the same time. I didn't hear any voices. So does this happen? Absolutely. Are there these hot spots? I would agree. Lon Strickler, Strange Days, phantomsandmonsters.com continues after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Lon. I'm loving this story, man. I am loving this story.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh, yeah. I can see you're jumping right out of your chair on this one.
Yeah. I did that when I first read it.
I like this one. I really do. I think it's completely interesting. Good morning, Body Tech. How you doing? Like, I'm just trying to think in my mind. Like, did they summon them in? What would have happened if they went in the forest? You know, like I asked Mark Spender, my bodyguard in the forest. I asked him, oh God, probably about a month ago now, what he thought would have happened if we had stayed in that area when the big guy was kind of starting to masquerade around. Because he figured, in Mark's professional opinion of being in the forest, he figured this thing was about 20 yards from us.
Oh, that close, huh?
Yeah. We couldn't see him because it was at night. We could only hear him.
Right.
Because we were trying to figure out how he got there. And that's going to be one of the missions that we have when we go back in May, is how the hell did he get there? Right?
Well, there may very well be a portal there. And I think after you and I have talked about that, I think that very well may have been what happened.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. But, like, I look at it like, would I be surprised at that area if all of a sudden we saw little people running around, or dogmen, or more aliens? No. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw ghosts. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw angels. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more UFOs and more Bigfoot sightings and everything that is with us. It just wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that there are certain areas on this planet. We have, I'll put it this way, we have a lot more skinwalker ranches than what we admit to. Or not admit to, that we even know of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places. It really is. I mean, I live right by one of the biggest ones in the world, you know, with Gettysburg.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Have you ever been there at night where you still hear like the cannons going off?
Yeah.
What's
when I
that
was
like?
younger, when we were allowed on the battlefield when I was younger.
Oh, they don't allow you on the battlefield anymore?
No, we used to actually camp on it. We used to camp out.
Well,
And
so what was that like being there in the middle of the evening or something like that?
Well, you'd hear what you think was distant cannon fire, gunfire, yelling, screaming occasionally. I mean, it wasn't like what I experienced when I was 9, when everything opened up and I was in the middle of the battle. But, you know, we saw a lot of apparitions. I probably spent about a dozen nights on that battlefield when I was younger. And I usually had somebody with me. So we both saw everything. I told you I used to take my girlfriends out there and scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, I bet.
But
hi, Chris. Yeah, that would have been freaky.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a lot of hot spots. You know, here in Pennsylvania, we've got a lot of them. I mean, we've identified a lot of different ones nearby. You know, we got a lot of reports of a lot of different things. You know, Mothman, Bigfoot, elves, little people, Glimmer Man. We've had them all within 25, 30 miles of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's the one thing that I love about our spot with Flight 21 is there is little to no contamination there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get people walking in, but you don't get a lot of people exploring in that area. All
Well, it's
right.
probably for the best.
Thank you to Gizmo, Jason ×2, and Area 53 for the super chats. Teen, how you doing? And we're going to get going here in about 25 seconds. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Check it on out. You'll like it. I promise you. You will. Promise. Seven seconds long. Here we go in the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Our guest, Lon Strickler from PhantomsMonsters.com. We'll get to him momentarily. But first, I want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Talking Dragons here tonight with Lon Strickler from phantomsandmonsters.com. Lon, it's always a pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you for stepping in once a month for us once again.
I always enjoy being with you, Dave.
Oh, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. I want to get into this whole Ouija board aspect of this investigation on these dragons. You know, the fact that the second time they went back, they went and actually tried to summon the dragons with the Ouija boards, but didn't have much success. Do you take that as something atmospheric that maybe wasn't sitting right in the paranormal, or that maybe it wasn't the right energy? Because you can never, the problem with the paranormal is you can never recreate exactly what happened when you have one of those nights where everything is explosively awesome.
Yeah, you almost had to have the perfect storm for something like that to reoccur. They just couldn't replicate what happened that night the previous time they were there. So they didn't get the desired effect. But the more I think about this, I mean, I can't wait till he comes up with some more, quite honestly, because, yeah, I mean, who knows? But they definitely opened something up, in my opinion.
Now, you're not a big fan of Ouija boards.
I hate them.
Okay, explain why you don't like them.
Well, I had a real bad encounter when I was in high school. It was 1976. I was at a party at a friend's house on a Saturday night. It was late. We were down in the club basement. There was about 20 of us there. I was sitting on the sofa. There was a coffee table in front of me, and they had a Ouija board on the table, and there were other teens sitting around the coffee table, and I was just sitting there. And they're messing with the Ouija board. They have 5 or 6 of them with their fingers on the planchette, and they were moving around. And, you know, I wasn't really paying it much mind, but I noticed the guy sitting on the far side of the table was giving me the stink eye. I don't know what he was thinking or what was going on, but he just was looking at me. And I didn't understand it. And suddenly he lunged over the table and tried to choke me. And everybody jumped on it to try to get him off of me, and I couldn't get him off. It was like he had super strength. And after a couple of minutes, he eventually backed off, and then he acted like he didn't know what happened. Well, So anyway, he got up, and he went somewhere. I don't know if he went upstairs or what he did. But anyway, that was the end of the Ouija board for the night. So maybe it was just a little bit later. We were sitting there. I was over by the bar. I mean, they had a bar in the club room. And I heard one of the girls scream out. And everybody's there, look, look, look. And we looked over by the Ouija board, and the planchette was levitating and hovering about 3 foot above the board.
Oh, nice.
And everybody ran in my direction because they were scared to be near it. And as we watched, this planchette dropped violently and hit the board, and it knocked the legs off the planchette. It would hit with that much force. And we ran up the stairs. We were freaked out. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I don't know if he was possessed, but that was the last time I messed with a Ouija board.
I have yet to see something floating like that.
I mean, it slowly went up and just hovering. And we're all watching. All the kids were amazed by what they were seeing. And bam, the thing landed right on top of that Ouija board, and the 3 legs on the planchette just blew out.
Wow.
So
the only thing I've ever caught floating, Lon, was myself during an alien abduction when I woke up staring at my ceiling that they were dropping me back into bed.
Oh God.
That was kind of cool. I was like 3 feet in my bed. I'll never forget that one. I'm pretty proud of that one, to be blunt. All right. Let's get to a couple audience questions here.
Okay.
Let's go to Overlander up in Prince George, British Columbia, literally almost the center of BC. I have a photo I found on the internet of some cowboy era people holding a pterodactyl for a photo. Are you familiar with it? And have you found a reason to think it's real or faked?
There's several of them. There's 3 or 4 different ones. Jonathan Whitcomb believes they're real. I mean, he's the pterosaur guy, but I don't think they're real. I think they're fake photos. But it shows a bunch of soldiers. They look like Union soldiers that are standing around this downed pterosaur, which looks to be like 15, 20 feet wide. And they're standing with their guns over this thing. And but there's a couple other photos very similar to that. So, but no, I don't think they're real. I think those are fake photos.
All right, let's move to another question here. From Good Night. Do you even know when they show up, or are they invisible? I'm going to assume he means the dragons.
The stories that have been, or the accounts that have been sent to me are, for the most part, they hear them in the distance coming towards them. I mean, they literally do fly into their location. But as far as actually manifesting, I don't think I've had any of those that had it either manifest or vanish. Because when the thing would fly over them, it would go at a distance so they could see it on the horizon or going up into the clouds. But I don't think I have had any reports sent to me where they saw it vanish or manifest.
Let's go to Paul. What's your thoughts on the tridactyls and the science being conducted?
You're talking about the 3-toed creatures? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about paleontology. I was an archaeological guy. I wasn't really into paleontology. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
I still think those are humans with fingers cut off. That's just me. Paul is asking, have you seen any UFOs being transported?
Transported? You mean like on trucks or something?
Could be.
I haven't seen anything like that.
Me either. They would disguise it with a tarp. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, at least they would do that much.
At least give us a tarp. That's our audience questions for right now.
Okay.
Getting back to these dragons here, do you think that, that maybe people are seeing something? And if they have, let me rephrase this because I'm kind of all over the board. If they haven't summoned up the spawns of hell in order to bring the dragons out from the Ouija board and whatever else they're doing, table tipping, do you think that people who are actually having encounters with these are maybe looking into a different timeline at that time?
I think that's very possible. Yeah, I think that's very possible. And for this group of people who were using the Ouija board at the Abbey, they may very well have been possessed or had been given a new perspective of what was actually going on around them. It wouldn't be something that was particularly or something that wasn't ever talked about before, because I have talked to people who have had similar things happen to them. Yeah, I think that's very possible.
That just kind of makes me wonder. And you look at the couple of cases that we discussed tonight. I mean, one was a bunch of people coming out of a rock concert, probably stoned, lack of a better term. Let's just be blunt. Lying on top of their vans down by the river, which is very Chris Farley-esque. and staring up in the sky, just kind of deadpanning life because they had a good night.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're seeing these things. I mean, what's the chances that maybe these are some sort of drone?
Well, I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but yeah, I guess it could be possible. The fact that it kept coming back, I don't know. I didn't think about that, but maybe it was. But I don't know. Were they flying drones back 2006? Yeah, they were flying drones.
They weren't as prevalent as they are today, but
yeah, I mean, but the military had those real big ones. So
yeah,
but I don't know of any drones that looked like that had bat-shaped wings on them, unless they really smoking some good stuff.
Yes, that is some good stuff right there. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just absolutely fascinated with this one, man. Yeah. Absolutely fascinating. Let's go to Paramarv here. Any recent stories of cryptids, UFOs near deep underground military bases lately, Lon? I know you have a dumb up near you, so I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I haven't had much lately. Butch and I looked into a lot of the local deep underground facilities in the area. I mean, I'm only 25 miles from Raven Rock. So they're here. I mean, I'm 25 miles from Raven Rock and about 30 miles from Camp David. So, and there's a lot of other facilities here in South Central Pennsylvania as well, as far as going down to Maryland. So, yeah, but I haven't heard of anything lately.
All right. Let's go over to, hey, you got aliens. Lon, do you believe or know of any secret societies or elite family bloodlines that study or are involved with the phenomena?
Do I know of? No. Are there? Yeah, there may possibly be, but I don't know of any.
Do you buy a lot into the stock of the secret societies tied to the phenomena?
You know, you hear a lot of stuff and read a lot of stuff when you do what I do. And sometimes something will come up and it'll make you think about it. But I don't know. I really, really don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of weird things that have gone on over the years where people have accused the government of having sites like that. But as far as proving it, it's just difficult, especially where we are, because this is a fairly populated area. I mean, out west, yeah, I mean, sure, it may very well be something like that, but here in Pennsylvania, it's mostly government facilities for politicians, or for for some type of shelter or underground shelter. As far as experimental, we just don't know that. There have been a lot of theories, in particular with Indiantown Gap, where there was a lot of construction done there not long after the Todd Seas case, where there was some really heavy construction and underground construction. Now, to what it was, we just don't know. But there was a lot going on there for several years.
That is awesome. Let's go to D. Syfy. Will all of your research, Lon, is there a time of year, or with all of your research, is there a time of year, time of moon cycle, any gravitational effects, etc., that are indicative to sightings?
We have looked into that, particularly involving Chicago, and we just can't find anything that parallels with that. That phenomena happens at all different times, and moon phases and times a year. When it first started out, we thought there may be some type of indication that that these events happened at certain points, but as time went on, it just became a moot point, actually.
That's the one struggle I think many of us have, and why so many skeptics don't believe in the paranormal supernatural phenomena, is because it's never replicated.
Yeah, it's a hanging point. It really is. I mean, it is a hanging point, and a lot of people do make reference to that. Unfortunately, most of the people who aren't involved with the investigations are not familiar with a lot of the inside stuff. Just take it for granted that we ought to have more answers, and it just doesn't work that way. I think that frustrates a lot of investigators.
What do you think the phenomena does with us? Because I mean, it just seems to be very, very frustrating. It's either your best friend or your biggest enemy. It's either going to cause you a lot of love or a lot of heartbreak and heartache. What's your thoughts of all of that?
It can get to that point. I've known people who have let it get to that point. I mean, where they feel that, you're always going to get people to disagree, even with theories. And it can get a little rambunctious at points. But yeah, frustration is probably one of the biggest downsides of what we do.
In Lon Strickler's terms, what is the phenomena?
The phenomena?
Yeah, in general, what do you think it is?
it's anomalous. So we really have no concrete evidence of what's actually really going on for the most part. I mean, phenomena is just anomalies and things that are unexplained. And, you know, I mean, I ask you, how much of the paranormal, say over the last 50 years or so, has actually been proven? Very little, if any.
Oh, very true. Very true. That always makes me wonder, because I think the phenomena is a big tease, if we could put it that way, because some days it's going to give you amazement, then it's going to disappear for months at a time or weeks at a time. Then it's going to absolutely blow your mind or give you a little bit of nibbles, so that way you could you still have that feeling that it's out there somewhere watching me, right?
Yeah, I mean, it almost gets to the point like, is there a big kahuna out there controlling everything and just screwing around with us?
It is like a big game.
Yeah.
I think the phenomena loves playing tricks on people.
Yeah, I think there have been times where most of us have thought that. There does sometimes seem to be something greater than us, or more knowledgeable than us, that are just playing games. Yeah, that may very well be true.
Let's go to
Pisses me
Sandra.
off, but
Let's go to Sandra. Have you ever had any experiences at Sachs Bridge in Gettysburg?
yeah, I have. Yeah, I saw a body hanging off one of the rafters on Sachs Bridge one night. Yeah, it wasn't. It looked like a body. It was very. It didn't manifest real well, but it kind of made you think that there was a body hanging by the neck from a rafter. I've heard a lot of stories about Sachs Bridge, and there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of folklore about Sachs Bridge as well. But there was a lot of death there. It's true that when the Confederate Army, when the Army of Northern Virginia pulled out to go south, they went across that area. Some of it did. And many of the wounded were left by the creek because they just couldn't transport them. And a lot of the wounded died there. So it's got a certain amount of energy that remains.
Let's go to Bombshell Bomber. This will be our final question of the night.
Okay.
What is the best way to reach you? You said something tonight that triggered some memories regarding the Ouija board. Need to pick your brain, please, and thank you.
Yeah, just send me an email at Lon Strickler at phantomsandmonsters.com. If you go to phantomsandmonsters.com and go into the site, there are plenty of links there to where you can get a hold of me. I even got my phone number there.
Yeah, she's a long-time listener of ours. Careful, though. She's a maritimer. And they're dangerous, those maritimers. But, Lon, with a minute to go here, it is always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio. And every time we turn the calendar, and I know you're coming back for another year, it just makes me so happy, my friend, because you are absolutely amazing. You're one of the best out there. You may struggle with your football team, but otherwise you're a pretty good guy.
Yeah, rub it in.
Well, at least you have a team. I don't have a team.
You're not a Bombers fan?
If I was in the CFL, I'm a BC Lions fan.
Oh, BC Lions fan. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a BC Lions fan. So I could sing you the you Lions roar song if you wanted.
No, that's okay.
It's pretty good. Lon, I want to say big thank you for coming back on Spaced Out Radio.
Right.
We will talk to you next month, and hopefully we got some more updates on dragons.
Okay, well, if that's what you want to talk about, I'll see if I can oblige you.
All right. Lon Strickler, everybody. Coming up next, we have Swamp Dweller, then Little Timmy James in studio for the UFO report. We'll be right back, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Lon, thank you very much, my friend. It's always a pleasure.
Yep, I'll be back next month, so
Well, that's good.
take it easy, and
You too,
when it
buddy.
comes up, let me know.
All right, brother. You take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Lon Strickler, everybody. We'll be right back. Gotta nail that down here pretty quick. All right, I am back. We got 2 minutes. Let's get set up for little Timmy James. All right, share. Need to go down a little bit. Yeah. There you go. Excuse me for the hiccup there. Well, it says it's only minus 11.
Dibs.
Still t-shirt weather
Oh, absolutely.
for a few minutes. You know.
Yeah.
We'll translate that for our American friends. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let's go minus 11. So that's about 12 degrees Fahrenheit.
Still haven't got the big cold yet, though.
No, is it even coming? Weather Network 108 Mile Ranch. Let's check here. Supposed to get to minus 13, feels like minus 17. Saying it's minus 12 out now. So it's about 10 degrees. No. Saturday is supposed to be minus 10.
Ice fishing weather.
Total ice fishing weather. That ice is hardening up right now.
Big time.
Yeah. Yeah, no snow in the forecast either.
I know.
Thank you to Jason Times 2, Area 53, and Gizmo for the super chats. Greatly appreciate the love and support. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out and make it happen. Here we go. All right, here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Zabrini. Zabrini is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. Knight's Landing. I'm afraid of that place. I haven't been back in a long time. I'm scared to go there. Somewhere in Northern California, an hour from the coast in a dry valley, there's a place. This place was my second home. I spent almost every weekend there for many years until I was a teenager. A property in the outskirts of a boring small town near a creek in a well-sized patch of woods. We did a lot of things there, and we had room and confidence. A creaky old house dimly lit, covered by trees, and a small garden to the side. The light only went so far from the windows and porch before it was total darkness, and a short walk to the other two buildings, old, long, empty garages filled with tables and chairs for parties. Probably about 50 feet long, 10 feet wide, side by side, and although they said no further than 20 feet from each other, they both had very different atmospheres. One was a beacon of light in the darkness, rather a checkpoint, before it was total darkness. They were bustling with life from family gatherings and parties, but never the second. Only 20 feet away, it was always too dark even to see. And on the other side of that, well, that's the scariest part of that place. The 4 mysterious homemade concrete graves. Right next to this building, and beyond that debris, giant rocks and tons of firewood picture almost a scrapyard with 0 light. The building was scary, but at least it was closer to the light. I have plenty of stories from here, ghosts and intruders and otherworldly and not worldly things. But this time, I'm going to concentrate on beyond those property lines, beyond the empty field adjacent to the old building, Cache Creek. Back then, the rules were don't go into that building at night, but we always did. They told us not to stray past the graves at night, but we always did. They told us not to go to the scrapyard, but yet we always did. But what we would not do is go past that field. It was almost an unspoken rule. No one ever brought it up. No one ever suggested attempting to make the trip, and we were reckless as kids, but not suicidal. We remember when we would sleep over when we were younger. My grandma would put us in the house before 12. That creaky old house. Too many for 1-story, 3-bedroom house. You could see the end of it from where you enter. A straight shot. Living room, dining room, kitchen. All the rooms to the left. Room 1 by the front door, room 2 by the end of the living room, and room 3 by the dining room and the bathroom in the kitchen. And then out the back door. We all funneled into the living room while the adults slept in the rooms. We slept on the floor, and we'd stay up longer than them, but not for long. We'd get too scared. I'd remember no one talking about these things, just a look on everyone's face. Then everyone lays down and pretends nothing happened. These types of occurrences were daily at this place. But there is something that I will never forget more than anything. One night, while everybody was asleep except for us kids, it was maybe 30 minutes after everybody went to sleep, and the house was all quiet except for us whispering away and talking. Honestly, when I started hearing the noises at first, I thought they were maybe just insects or maybe a cat or something. But then we started hearing distant screams far off. A chill ran down my spine instantly. Suddenly it sounds like something slams into the front door and starts scratching at the walls, the door, and the sides of the house. Everywhere. It sounds like something is running around the house. The scratches, like I said, started at the front door, and then suddenly they were at the back door, then the right, and all at once. Sometimes it just sounded like one finger, and other times it sounded like a full claw. We were all scared out of our wits. The scratching then stopped, and for a moment everything went silent before we heard a massive thud on the top of the roof. I felt fragile under it. I felt like at any moment that the roof would cave in on top of us, and we would be this thing's meal, whatever it was. Eventually, the adults woke up and went to see what was going on, asking if we were horsing around. Once they saw how scared we were, they walked outside. The wind seemed to calm, and everything seemed to drift off into silence. I survived that night somehow, and so did all of us. The next day, when I asked the adults what they saw, they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me if it was wolves, big coyotes, nothing. No response at all. All I knew is I heard something that night. I was young, maybe 5 or 6 at the time, and now I'm 22. And I can tell you for a fact that my reckless curiosity still gets the best of me sometimes. But I know one thing is there was something out there that night. I can't explain what it was.
Thank you to Swamp Dweller for another creepy story. If you want more stories just like that, head on over to YouTube. Type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and Swampy will play thousands of stories for you just for free. Just for you. Nobody else, just for you. It's that amazing. Let's head to the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
All right, let's head over to little Timmy James. Welcome to the week, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. And you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. Not feeling very well today.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, the stomach was turning earlier. I almost had to call Sweet Robbie G up to fill in for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But you know what? It is, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need a nap.
I love naps.
Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll do it all again
Yeah,
because that's what we do,
that's it.
but yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did. Had a very good weekend. Actually, kind of chilled out. Had some company over on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Who?
Mr. and Mrs. SOR.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a nice chill weekend. And yeah, for once.
Yeah. Yeah. This weekend's going to be a runaround weekend for me. I can already feel it.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the UFO report. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a ton going on. The drones seem to be back.
Yes.
We have a lot of news on X and the drama revolving around Jake Barker.
Yeah.
And Skywatcher, his program. This is the new whistleblower.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you even want to start here, man?
Well, I mean, we can start off with Jake. I mean, it's exploding. You're right. It has it's come out of the gates and it's at full force. Everybody's talking about it. He is all of a sudden on the interview circuit, but that Space Watch, I'm thinking that he's going to really bring some stuff to the table, and that's what he's claiming to do. So there was a gentleman that was on the news today, and his name is Don Paul Bales. He has said that he worked alongside Jake Barber. He's a military veteran and a former law enforcement officer, and he says some of the UFO crafts that he was read in on are like living organisms. So all quoted from Don. So Don said, when I was read in on all of the different types of craft, one thing that I did not know based on my personal experience up to then, I'd had experiences before then. Remember, I'm reading what he's saying, so some of this is kind of a little jumbly. Personal experiences. All right. So, but when exposed to, I don't think I can discuss exactly in detail these classifications, but let's say that some were actual craft, UFO, and others in my mind appeared to be more like an actual NHI, like an organism. Like it's not, you wouldn't describe it as a ship, more like a well in the ocean. But these non-human intelligences are able to move about our natural universe, much like we walk around on land and, whales swim in the ocean. But and there's another dimension too, literally, metaphysically, that some of these entities seem to be transdimensional. They can move in ways that, like they're there and then they're not there. I was like, okay. So seems to be a lot of people that I guess have worked with Jake, been involved with Jake and stuff that are all kind of jumping out with him now. And since Jake jumped out, well, then I'm going to jump out and support him. There's a ton of it out there, and trying to keep up with it right now is basically a feat in itself. And I'm thinking too that you got to be really careful because there's a lot of people just dropping a bunch of garbage out there too, right? But yeah, I think it's going to get very interesting. And like the one interviewer said today, and I think you saw it, oh my.
Well, here's the thing. I want to go off on this for a little bit because there is a big rub against him from many people who have served in the Black Ops community, in the intelligence community, and they are claiming that this is all false. Now, I'm not saying that they're right or Jake is right. We're just calling it down the middle here.
Yes.
And one of those gentlemen I'm talking to who isn't quite sure about Jake Barker's background, I'm trying to get him on the show right now. He is quite skeptical of the entire UFO format. And I think it'd be a very interesting conversation. We're just working on a date right now to get him on the show. And I know other intelligence people are like, look, we've seen these things. It's not a UFO. It's not an egg. Okay. It's not gonna, it's not a Get Kraken commercial. Only Canadians will get that.
Yep.
But there is still a lot of debate about all of this and everything. And then when you add in the fact and this is where I really want to go off. You add in the fact of the psionics part of it all, and that his team with the Skywatchers is actually studying and bringing on scientists and psychologists about the psionics portion. This is just having everybody trip out on X right now. But I want to just make this clear, okay? Because I think this point is important. Now, a lot of times you've heard me joke and somewhat seriously, the difference between ufology and uapology.
Right.
Okay, so for people, what the hell is uapology? UAP, the study of UAP.
Right.
Uapology. Okay, or as Nicole Sakic, and I stole this from her, okay, as I've said before, because I don't want to take credit for it, the 2017s.
Right.
Now, for a lot of the 2017s, or the uapologists, they really have never jumped on the UFO ufology side of the bandwagon when it comes to a lot of these high strangeness.
Right. Okay.
Like CE5, which is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind,
Right.
which now has, of course, because, anything in the past, you can't use those names anymore. Now they're calling it psionics. But the point that I'm getting at is this. The uapologists, along with the government people who've come out about this subject, have done absolutely everything in their might to eliminate anything to do with ufology prior to their arrival 8 years ago. So people were talking about CE, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We all know that because of the video. Yeah. We're down to like Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind now, which is basically, hey, there you are. What are you up to? Okay. And the summoning aspect of it all. People have been talking about this, and that the uapologists were totally like all nuts and bolts.
Right.
It's all about propulsion, the craft, their power source system, free energy, anti-gravitics, everything like that. We're not allowed to talk about aliens, which is now NHI. Okay. And all of a sudden, because Jake Barker has a military background,
okay,
we're now talking about, oh, look how amazing this is. Can you believe this guy's coming out about summoning UFOs? Can you believe this? It must be true because he's ex-military. The uapologists have a real issue with not believing anything that has already been studied and known about for years. Why do we always need somebody who's ex-military to come out and say this is real? And then we buy it like it's, the next flavor of ice cream at Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what picks my hide about this.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been going on for a long time. Okay. I know many people who have summoned UFOs. We've interviewed them on this show. You take Melinda Leslie, she's able to summon them. She won't take credit for it, but she has a UFO Skywatch in Sedona, Arizona.
Okay.
Where literally they are all over the place. She's seeing them all over the place. So the question is she summoning or is she not? I'm not sitting here saying that it's wrong for Jake Barker to come out about this. In fact, I think it's great that he's bringing attention to it. Never mind the criticism or the negativity, because for many who don't know, I've summoned them myself.
Right.
I've done that back in 2013, 2014. I'd invite friends over to come see the UFOs off my patio.
Right on.
Okay. But the fact that it was being done years before, but we weren't allowed to pay attention to it because those are the little green men flying saucer people.
Right. Yeah.
But now that we've got ex-military guy who's now built a Skywatcher group with some sort of big time funding.
Right.
Oh, well, we got to buy this. This
Yeah.
is true. This is happening.
Yeah.
It just blows my brain up
Mm-hmm.
that we're actually, having this conversation now, when this conversation was very had a number of years ago, before we ever knew about Jake Barker,
Yeah.
before we ever knew about psionics, before we ever even knew about Lou Elizondo and the Stars Academy and everybody. I know it sounds like I'm preaching right now,
No.
but it's tiresome to me because the people who did the work in the past, who brought all of this to light,
Yeah.
never get credit. They've been called lunatics.
Sure.
They've been called liars. They've been called grifters.
That's it.
They've been called absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we got a military guy in there saying that it's done properly,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it has clout and value.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, it
No.
blows my mind. It upsets me.
Yeah, and understandable, and obviously, I think that what you're saying makes sense, but it also what's bothering me is along that line is it's for me it's still too early for me to see which side of the fence I'm on, but I'm just finding that everything is far too convenient now. He comes out of for me, he comes out of nowhere. Here's a picture of me picking up an egg. So that goes viral. And then all of a sudden he's got this team with all this stuff, all this. Where's this all coming from? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not straight shooting, but it's just everything's far too convenient for me. And it just leads me to like, yeah, that narrative was done. Nobody believed it. Now, Jake said it. Like you said, we're going to jump on that boat.
And I apologize. I was calling him Barker. It's Barber.
Yeah.
I apologize about that. But the whole point is, this is where, when people hear me talk poorly about UAP, you apologists, the 2017s, this is the perfect scenario. This was bugging me all weekend in order to get you in here to have this conversation with you.
Yep.
Because so much good work has been done prior to the apology.
Right.
Okay. And it gets no credit. Nobody talks about it because the apologists have no idea what happened prior to 2017.
Fair enough.
They don't, to them, ufology started in 2004 with the USS Nimitz case. Sure, we had Roswell and maybe a couple other things, but they don't seem to worry about anything besides Roswell.
Right. Okay.
So
I got you.
I just think, and maybe it's just me, okay, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, they're like, oh, shut up already. But it just bugs me, man.
Yeah.
That ufology's been going on for 60 years. Okay. Almost 70 years since the Roswell incident and the Kenneth Arnold incident. And we put nothing into the hard work and the research those people did, but immediately, all of a sudden, since we have all of these whistleblowers coming out, they have carte blanche on every topic that's here. We're supposed to believe them.
And I'm wondering if that's lack of knowledge of history too. I mean, seriously, you've got a new generation. I'm wondering if that's part of it, because they're not too lazy. I don't want to say that, but they don't go backwards and do any of the research. They're just taking what they know in their immediate history and using that and experimenting that way. Just another.
And it could be. And look, I'm not ripping on Jake Barker.
No.
Okay. I would love to be there when he's doing it, because I think the more people you get around who can do it, the more success you're going to have.
Okay.
Because I've done it in the past, I would love to be able to be there with him to actually do it again.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Okay. And to me, that would be great. Do I think it's going to happen? Hell no. No, I live way too north.
Yeah, true.
But on the flip side, I understand with what he's saying, and it's an amazing feat. Like when it happens, man, when you're putting all your energy to the sky and all of a sudden you don't just get a little blip in the sky, but you get something that is actually craft worthy flying over.
Hmm.
It is amazing when it happens. And it's kind of freaky at the same time.
I'll bet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Substantial.
When we return on Spaced Out Radio's UFO report with Little Timmy James, we will get to the recent drone interaction. And what about Trump? El Presidente said he was supposed to release this on day
This
one.
is Spaced Out Radio, and your host, Dave Scott.
Sorry, I kind of stole that from you.
No, that's okay. That's good because I like that.
It honestly just bugs me.
Really?
Well,
I
you
understand.
gotta realize, and I haven't been around forever. I've only been around a decade.
Sure, fair enough.
Okay, but there are people who've been researching this and watching this for decades, and to see them get ripped off, and there's good people there. I'm not going to name names. But
No,
there's still good people there who haven't fallen for the you apology.
Right.
Okay, they're watching it, they're studying it, but they haven't fallen for the you apology. They're still ufologists.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. And these people watching their hard work get kind of flushed down the toilet because they're not a whistleblower. They aren't somebody who has a military background. They aren't tied to government agencies or whatever. And all of a sudden, all of their hard work gets flushed down the toilet because they're not part of the 2017 khaki pant mafia. Okay. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I get you. I'm just wondering though too. I mean, those people that you're talking about, and like you say, not going to name names. I'm wondering if some of those people are going, damn, but finally, yes. You know what I mean? Like, I get you.
They're happy. They're happy it's coming out.
Yeah.
But you got to realize ufology has always had this dangerous path in it.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Where you're dealing with something that is of a government construct that is being covered up.
Fair enough.
We've known this for a while,
but
we don't have. I'll use a Stephen Bassett case here, where Stephen always used to say, and if you go back in the archives and listen to Stephen Bassett, where he'll say, all we need is one guy to come out.
Yeah.
Okay. We had the one guy, Elizondo, and it skyrocketed from there. Okay. Other people coming out. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to watch Skywatcher now because they are planning on bringing out some data later this week. And, they're all gung-ho that disclosure is going to happen in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see. I would like to know who their funders are.
Well, me too. And it just, like I said, to me, it just happened very, very quickly. It was like from nowhere from nobody to somebody, like, and with, like you say, some good financial backing.
Well, I mean, Enigma Labs kind of did the exact same thing. Right?
Yeah.
And the problem with the Skywatcher website is you have to sign up for them to get anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So if you go to their website, skywatcher.ai, it's a 3D kind of picture that says, just look up, stay in the know, enter your email. What can you provide? I'm going to try this.
Okay.
See what happens here. What can you provide? Thank you. Your submission has been received. What submission? I just gave you my email address. Oh, well, we'll find out. That's what that email's for.
That's right.
So I don't know. I apologize for getting a little passionate over that, but it just pisses me off. So when I say I'm not naming names, it's because I don't want to run through a bunch of names and forget people.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think of like people like Melinda Leslie, Grant Cameron, Jim Mars, Stanton Friedman, Richard Dolan before he became a U-apologist. there's hundreds of names. Those are just some of the bigger names out there. Lori and Fenton, Stephen Bassett.
On and on and on, for sure.
It goes on and on. It really does. Ufology sounds nothing like religious cult. It's called history, because that's what people were, Rob. It was history. I know you're a U apologist, buddy. But if anything needs to be dropped, it's UAP.
Oh, yeah.
UAP could be equated as buying into the narrative.
Yeah.
Well, so does anyology. Geology sounds like Scientology.
Oh, my goodness.
Biology sounds like it. Physiology sounds like it. Jason ×2, Area 53 in Gizmo. Thank you for the love of the super chats. Here we go, everybody. Reminder to all of you that if you missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We have little Timmy James and myself. We are taking on the UFO report. The drones seem to be back, my friend. What's going on there?
My goodness. So yes, more mysterious drone sightings reported in the Northeast after the FAA ban lifts. So research company Enigma Labs said it has tallied 650 sightings nationally described as drone related since November, the most concentrated in the Northeast. More mysterious drone sightings have been reported in the Northeast in a strange surge after the Federal Aviation Administration lifted its temporary flight restrictions, following thousands of reported drone sightings late last year. The sightings last year, reported in November and December in New York, New Jersey, and other nearby states, prompted airport closures, led to arrests, and triggered calls from lawmakers and the FAA for more oversight. The sightings appeared to slow down after the FAA in December imposed temporary flight restrictions on drone flights in New Jersey and New York that lifted in some areas on the 19th of January. Since the restrictions lifted, more reports of sightings from Connecticut to New Jersey have emerged. Enigma Labs, a research company studying unidentified phenomenon, has tallied 650 sightings nationally, described as drone-related since November, with the most concentrated in the Northeast. Enigma reported a drop in report numbers immediately following the ban. But just this month, it received 49 reports in New York and New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, 14 of which came after the flight bans expired. You look at the reports that people are submitting. They're saying, I'm still seeing them, ban or no ban, and they're happening. Enigma spokesperson Christine Kim told NBC's Today Show on Monday. Enigma shared videos sent in by locals showing lines of flashing red lights beaming into the night sky, multiple in close proximity to one another over neighborhoods. On Sunday, Senator Chuck Schumer confirmed the return of the drones at an unrelated press conference in New York. The FBI referred the news and media to a statement jointly released with the FAA and the Department of Homeland Security on the 16th of December that said the FBI received more than 5,000 reported drone sightings, tips in the few weeks prior to the 100 leads generated for investigation. The agency said that it sent advanced detection technology and trained visual observers to the region. However, if the FBI said nothing anomalous was identified, as we've all heard, among the tips, nor any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in the Northeast. We assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. The agency said in that statement. Late last month, New York Governor Kathy Hochul called for legislation to regulate drones in the skies. While we have not detected any public safety or national security threats, we will continue aggressively monitoring the situation as we call on Congress to pass legislation to give states and local law enforcement the authority and the resources they need to manage this evolving technology, she said. So they're back at it.
And Jacob Rice, who's a good friend of mine in Merle's, great paranormal investigator in Washington State. He lives by an Air Force base, and he said tonight there was helicopters and drones flying around there.
Wow.
So did the drones all of a sudden show up in Washington State now?
Decided to come west?
You never know.
You
never know. You know, I'll be honest with you. One of the big complaints that we're hearing is that Donald Trump stated that, in his first day of office, he stated that he was going to get to the bottom of the drone saga. He hasn't.
No.
Question is why? Question is why hasn't he done it? Because in front of the press, he sent his Secretary of State to go and find the answer for them right now. She never came back to the office, the Oval Office.
That's right.
That we know of. At least she may have come back, but the question wasn't answered. No. Are you hearing of any of the Congress people or representatives who are, saying, hey, like, what are you doing here? Why aren't we learning about these drones?
Yeah, absolutely. So the pressure is starting to grow on President Trump to provide some. They've gone from drones to everything. They've carte blanche. Let's get this out and open. So, new article. So less than a week into President Trump's administration, bipartisan calls for transparency on UAP and UFO are intensifying. It's been almost 1 week into Trump's admin. He pitched himself as a change agent, and so far he's been good on his word, signing more executive orders on his first day in office than any other president in history, according to White House communications. True to his key transparency promises during campaign on January 23rd, he ordered the declassification of records related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This move signaled clear intent, a bold challenge to the intelligence community, which had previously obstructed efforts to declassify JFK documents. But will Trump venture into the uncharted territory of U.S. democracy where democratic oversight appears to have died, the realm of UFO? After Trump signed the executive order declassifying assassination files, Senate Minority Leader and UAP advocate, whose efforts alongside Republican Senator Mike Rounds to pass the UAP Disclosure Act bill promoting transparency on the subject have been blocked for 2 consecutive years, tweeted, "Now do UFOs." This challenge to the president has since gained momentum. The Republican representative Nancy Mace and Anna Paulina Luna both retweeted Schumer's message. Mace declared, "Finally, something we agree on," while Luna simply stated, "I agree." A fellow transparency advocate, Representative Eric Burlinson, had stated to the media, "I've been reaching out to Trump's campaign and to his policy team, trying to get them to consider UFO disclosure as well. Doing an executive order on that. I think it's the only thing Chuck Schumer and I can agree on, that the American people really, the world deserves to know this." Going further, Representative Burchett told News Nation that President Trump will be releasing UAP information. Quote, "President Trump has confided the fact in the fact that he will release some of these. I plan to have that conversation again with him very soon. Many politicians, both Republican and Democrat, including Trump's new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, have been unwavering in their pursuit of UAP transparency in recent years. However, the key obstacle, has been the lack of meaningful support and momentum from the White House. Under Biden's term, the White House had consistently been where UAP transparency efforts had faltered, despite some initial support from Schumer-Round's bill, according to the Liberation Times source. Sources have informed that this is no coincidence, pointing to long-serving White House staff across multiple administrations as central to the alleged cover-up. In 2023, Rear Admiral Tim Godet told a conference, this White House does not want disclosure. That's their policy. Godet added that the bodies we care about in the White House are the National Security Council and the Office of Science and Technology Policy. A recent policy brief by Lou Elizondo urged Trump administration to take decisive action. Elizondo specifically recommended appointing a senior White House advisor to address the dual challenges of advanced unmanned aerial systems and UAP, collectively known as emerging all-domain technologies. Under the plan, the czar would be placed and sit within the National Security Council. Elizondo has made multiple appearances on Donald Trump Jr.'s podcast, advocating for a greater UAP transparency. So Liberation Times understands that UAP advocates are having similar conversations with Trump's team behind the scenes. The consensus among sources is that the new administration is interested and taking the topic seriously. Ross Coulthart recently revealed that members of the administration are seriously engaging with whistleblower testimonies about the crash retrieval programs involving advanced non-human craft. Supporting Coulthart's statement, former U.S. Marine Mike Herrera, who alleges that he and his unit encountered a UFO operation by covert group during a 2009 humanitarian mission in Indonesia, provided an example of his own involvement. Responding to Coulthart, Herrera wrote, I can personally verify that Ross is speaking the truth of this. I have attended meetings to brief some of Trump's administration, and the feedback I got was yes, they are taking it seriously. We will see what happens. So besides just the drones, they went in there and they just said, we want everything. There was a little bit of a story that I read before that, and it was, what are we doing with the drones? What are we doing with the drones? And then it led into this big no. Everybody's on the administration's case right now. Let's get it out there. You said you were going to. Yeah,
they should. And you know what? If you're going to make a promise like that, follow through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Donald Trump disclosing.
Okay.
I don't see him disclosing at all. Chuck Schumer's tweet was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
Okay. I don't see them disclosing that.
No.
They can't. There's too much technology, too much money riding on this. And with all of these companies that are lining up to make the money off of this,
yeah,
they are, like I told you, and I've said many a times,
yep,
we're looking at a new $1 trillion industry here.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And the last thing that Trump wants to do is upset the military industrial complex.
Yeah.
Especially if they are holding on to these technologies. And I do believe that there is a NDA, in fact, on this from whoever sits in the presidential seat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him disclosing. I see him maybe letting out the JFK files and everything.
Sure.
But this is different, man. We're talking about something that is going to affect every person on the planet.
Yeah.
There's not much that could happen in this world that would affect every single person on the planet besides something extremely catastrophic or religious.
Yeah. And I mean, taking and standing in a neutral point of view too. I mean, at my age, how many presidents, former presidents, people running for president have said in the past that that's what they were going to do, and then when they got into office, I think they realized that those statements that they've made, or promises that they made, we're like, you are going to have to break all those promises. And I mean, somebody would have done it by now. I would think, right? But yeah, I don't think, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think he might give us some tidbits. We might find out some other little stuff that, that we probably already figured we knew, but I don't see it being, okay, here we go. Right.
No, I don't see him doing the UFO files at all. It doesn't make sense.
No.
It doesn't matter. I mean, there are certain things the public still wants to pressure. I mean,
oh yeah.
Just last week, Kash Patel came out saying that he has seen the missing pages from the 9/11 report,
right,
and said that will upset every single American that is out there, because there are some pretty big names on there. Okay. Why can't that be released?
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming up 2001, 2025, 24 years.
Yeah.
This year. Hard to believe.
I know.
Why can't we see them? Right? It's because they don't want egg on their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Good
They don't
possibility.
know. And there's a lot of companies that are benefiting off this potential UFO/alien technology.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want their names coming out.
No, it's a moneymaker.
You got that right. All right, your final story.
Oh, all right. Kentucky, January 1977. This UFO incident is similar in many ways to other abduction cases. The witness was driving a car, saw a strange object in the sky, and lost all memory of whatever transpired next. Under hypnotic regression, he told a story of abduction into the craft, whereupon he was examined by sentient occupants. The difference is that these occupants certainly do not appear like the usual humanoids. Three strange creatures who are shaped like machines, looking like giant one-armed tombstone, one a 7-foot teletype machine, and the other one looking like a man-sized Coke machine. So also the witness was hypnotized within 24 hours of the event. That witness was Lee, and they redacted his name. So I'm going to say Smith because there's a bunch of spots where it gets confusing. So that witness, Lee Smith, is a 19-year-old truck driver for his family's firm and was described by UFO investigators Don Elkins and Carla Ruckert as a sincere, common sense type of individual who was genuinely bothered by his experience. So, January 1997, he's driving on US 42 to driving northeast of Louisville, Kentucky. Cold weather with partly cloudy skies and snow on the ground, flat fields, small pond, utility, and phone lines prior to the hypnosis. So while driving home to Prospect, Kentucky, witness saw a rectangular object 40 feet by 10 feet, bright red in color. It hovered above the tree line about 100 to 220 feet off the road and 100 to 150 feet up. The apparition was too bright to look at comfortably yet Smith felt compelled to do so. He was not conscious of driving the car, yet he wound up underneath the hovering object. Then it sped away like a jet towards the northwest. When he arrived home, he discovered that he had taken him 45 minutes to complete a 7-minute trip. The arrival and departure times were confirmed by his girlfriend and his mother. Smith was hypnotized the next evening by Lawrence Allison, who had worked with Elkins, Ruckert before on UFO-related cases. In that missing 45-minute period, he was inexplicably transferred into the craft. The interior was 20 foot in diameter with white circular rooms, more high-ceilinged than the exterior would suggest. When the tall shape, 15 to 20 feet, touched him, the sensation was painful, cold, and burning at the same time. Its arm was rough-skinned. The rest of it featureless body was textured and smooth and rough in patches. The 6-foot red one on Smith's right touched him with an U-jointed arm, which felt like the sting of a needle. The white one in the middle, whose whole being glowed, was deemed to be the ruler of the three. It had 2 arms which weren't used. The beings disappeared one by one, leaving Smith alone in the bouncing and rocking ship. Smith was returned to his car, which was suspended below the craft above the road. The following effects were observable without the need of hypnosis. So Lee Smith, painfully bloodshot eyes seen by Mrs. Smith, the failure of the car radio while the UFO was consistently present, damaged the car's electrical system, reported Lee Smith. The plugs were ruined, the condenser, distributor cap, and distributor. UFO investigator Les Stringfield also spoke to Lee Smith about a month after the incident and learned he found welts on his legs and suffered from dizziness the day after the encounter. IUR checked for possible radar confirmation of the object with Louisville Bowman and Stanford Fields, and the Indiana pole is air route traffic control with no luck. To minimize the possibility that the rectangular sign of an ad plane was not a stimulus, we contacted 5 companies nearest to Louisville. None were flying there that night. Another UFO was sighted at 10:30 that evening, but was described as a domed disc. The biggest limitation in the case is a single witness situation. Did the hypnosis uncover an accurate portrayal or a subconscious fantasy? For what it's worth, Lee Smith also claims to have seen several UFOs previous to this one, and once even had mentally willed an unplugged outdoor light to light up.
It's always the unplugged door to light
I
up.
know.
Just causes a lot of issues.
I know.
You know, somebody's got to put like a switch on there.
It's a constant in the stories.
Maybe just maybe one of them
Dimmers?
Twisting dimmers. Yeah. I love it when you end the segments with those personal accounts.
Yeah.
I think it's
They're fun.
absolutely great. You know, because in the end, no matter what, we can argue about ufology.
Mm-hmm.
We can argue about who's telling the truth, who's not, where are we getting the right information, where it's not. This is still a subject that comes down to the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people like you and me who are having these extraordinary experiences that you would never believe in a million years.
Right.
I mean, look how much you have changed since you had your Bigfoot encounter.
I know.
Last fall.
Yep.
Right. And we
Yep.
were all there.
Oh,
but,
I know.
but you look at your attitude, how that's changed in regards to the subject matter.
Yeah.
Will it ever happen again? We don't know.
Yeah.
But all we can do is try to put ourselves in that position to make it happen. And, you know, whether it's ufology and CE5 or psionics, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Or chasing ghosts or Bigfoot in the forest. It's all about you.
Yeah.
And the disclosure is for yourself.
That's right.
Thank you, Tim, for coming on the show. As we say goodnight to Tim, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Ball, rocking in the background with Pro Brothers watching. Bumblefoot is rocking out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar. God himself. Special thanks to everybody listening at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, Streamer, LinkedIn, Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SORP Adventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my
make a
friend,
mistake. We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Blue Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them. Good night, everybody. All right. Clear.
All right. Good.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Thanks
I
for having me.
appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Good report tonight.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
You know, on a scale of 1 to 10,
It was an 11.
It was an 11 and a half. Quick shout out to Deborah Rooney, River Dog, Philip Blair. How you monsters doing? Kudos to Major Lee, who has gone an entire show today without using the word grift or grifter.
Nice.
Yeah, congratulations, Major Lee. That's quite impressive for you.
We bug because we love.
Yeah. Try a baked potato for my belly? I don't get it. What am I trying a baked potato for?
Because baked potatoes is good.
I love a good baked potato.
Me too.
I like
Butter, sour cream, cheese. Oh yeah, let's get it in.
That's just...
There's a thing about food. I don't know what it is.
right?
I did a slow cooker stew.
You're a slow cooker stew.
Thanks, man.
That's what I'm going to call you from now on. Slow cooker stew.
Slow cooker stew.
Sounds like a South Park name.
It does.
What's the date today? The 27th.
Yeah. All day.
It's 28th now. But...
Yeah. South Park. I like a good baked potato. You know, it used to work for me, and it's really weird because I hate them. When I was super, like, you know, you're a kid and you get the really bad flu or whatever, or even as an adult, chicken soup, do this, do that. My grandmother, how about a poached egg on toast? And I hate poached eggs. Freaking hate them.
I love poached eggs.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I love eggs, but poached eggs I can't do.
No, I can do poached eggs. I like poached eggs.
No, I don't know why. I just can't.
Yeah.
But she'd do that, and I'd be like, she'd go, maybe this will make you feel better. I'd be like, no, ew, it's making me feel like I'm gonna barf. And then she'd bring it in or whatever, and I'd eat it. I was like, damn, that's the only time I like poached egg. Is when I'm not feeling good. Other than that, you can keep them. Eggs Benedict, don't want it.
Love eggs Benedict.
Oh, I know everybody does
It's
it.
my favorite breakfast.
Is it
You know what I don't like?
breakfast?
Hard-boiled eggs.
The
The white part becomes, it's like eating rubber. Tasteless rubber.
lots of salt.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I like deviled eggs.
Devil's eggs, that's different.
Yeah, because they take
Yeah.
for sure. No, I just I don't mind hard boiled eggs. I remember when we were kids, we used to do soft boiled eggs in the cup, and then you slice the toast into fingers and you dip your toast into your fingers. That was another Irish English thing that
Alex Diaz. Carl Bittner is Human Carl. Human Carl. Jay Truthseeker, how are you?
sunny side up. Can't do those either.
French fried potatoes.
French fried taters.
Yeah.
Sling Blade. Wasn't that the movie that was from? I love French fried taters.
By the way, you know what was making the rounds again today?
No.
My spaced out radio clip from 2021 where Elizondo called Greer a terrorist.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah, that was making the rounds again today.
Cool.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Pickled eggs are good. Yeah, very nice, Lee. Mm-hmm.
Not a pickled egg guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a pickled pickle guy.
Oh, I love pickles.
Yeah.
Deep fried pickles?
No, I'm not a fan.
Oh,
Not a
freaking
fan.
yeah, I'm in.
No, not a fan.
Yeah. I like pickled onions too.
You know what I do like though is the sweet mini pickles.
Oh, the mighty gherkin.
Yeah, those are good.
Nah, I'm not a sweet pickle guy.
I'm a sweet pickle guy.
I like the mustard pickles. My mom used to make them when I was a kid. They're really good. But my mom used to make like a malt vinegar style, like those small onions. And yeah, pickle those. Oh God, I eat those all day. Sit in the backyard, just get canker sores.
You know what else is amazing? Mom used to make when she used to jar her pickles, is having that pickle juice.
Oh yeah,
Drinking the pickle juice right out of the jar.
A little bit.
Oh,
I like them at Caesars.
Yeah.
For all you Americans, that's a Bloody Mary. But yeah.
It's a fancy Bloody Mary. You're that kind of guy. You like a good Bloody Mary.
Yeah. I like a Caesar.
So do I.
But can't have more than maybe 2 other. Yeah, that just like it's like a meal. It's like, ooh,
It is. Don't like the way they've dressed them up.
Gets a little crazy. Bacon and asparagus tips with horseradish. And
Yeah, I like horseradish.
me too. But yeah, it gets a little over the top. Garlic stuffed mushroom or garlic stuffed olives, and those are good.
Yeah. Does anybody actually eat artichoke hearts?
I've had them.
You look like a guy who would.
No, I've had them. I'm definitely not a fan.
Sweet Robbie G would be that guy.
Oh, he's an artichoke.
Oh yeah,
Heart.
Yeah, he loves the artichoke hearts so he can get the artichoke farts. True, he told me about it.
You know those sauerkraut.
Yep.
Sandwich between 2 pieces of feta.
Do you remember? What was that cheese? Came in a big block. Velveeta cheese.
Oh God,
my dad used to love Velveeta and liverwurst sandwiches.
Oh, I like liverwurst on toast. Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, I'm used to do that.
Robbie G loves artichoke hearts.
Oh, that's okay.
I
love artichoke hearts.
Well, of course he does. He's Rob G. Make sure you put that in your intro now. I'm the guy who likes artichoke hearts. The hell is an artichoke, anyways?
I don't know.
I think it's some sort of vegetable, some sort of legume.
I don't even know. I've seen people at restaurants and you pull it off and you dip them in butter or something. It's like, no, I'm good.
No, I will say this: cabbage and turnips are very underrated.
Oh yeah,
very underrated.
Yeah. Make a Guinness stew, and then I make mashed potatoes with cabbage sliced up into the mashed potatoes.
Nice.
Damn,
that's nice.
Just make sure you have windows and doors open for the rest of the evening after that.
Right. Right. Yep.
Food. Artichokes are veggies. When Rob G farts, it sets off earthquake. Yeah, right. Oh,
I love the old cabbage there.
Something I don't eat a lot of, or don't eat enough of. And I always forget about it.
I put a bunch of cabbage in my chili that I made a week and a bit ago.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yep. That was good stuff.
I remember working in restaurants, and they'd grate carrots to put it into meat sauce to kind of, but yeah. And then a guy, Steve, actually, I still remember, that's weird, did that grated cabbage and put it into meat sauce.
Yeah. Christine says that she loves to break wind off of cabbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's why we bring her on the show.
She's a break winder.
Oh, she's ripping ass during this show over the cabbage. All the cabbage top has her give it a good lean here.
Yep. One cheek sneak.
Oh, that's dangerous.
That's what you do when you're sitting at the picnic table in the summer. You got to do the one cheek sneak.
She's like, OMG, Dave. No, don't say that. I'm so embarrassed. Yeah. Yeah. Here she is.
Have you had cabbage soup?
Oh, I like cabbage soup. That is also very good for a diet. Total cleansing, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A little bit of fiber.
If you do cabbage soup twice a day, you'll burn off the fat in no time.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I'm just too lazy to do that.
Grapefruits too, but my medication that won't let me. I'll eat grapefruit.
I can't stand grapefruit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to peel them and just eat them like an orange.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one citrus I cannot handle is grapefruit.
I'll do the pink. I'll do the pink grapefruit. They're a little bit nicer.
Me, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're all about aesthetics.
That's it.
I've seen your castle. I was there on the weekend.
It's
It's all about aesthetics. The perfect dogs.
Oh yeah.
With the perfect log home. 4-story log home.
Oh yeah, that's it. 20 bedrooms. 16 bathrooms.
Yep.
But it is a log home.
Actually, you got a beautiful house.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, your place is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
We'll have to do Dave's crib on a show one night.
No,
I know. I'm just joking.
No. No.
SOR Cribs. Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Or the broken famous were like it.
Yeah, exactly. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
I hated that show.
I did too.
Oh.
Pretentious.
Okay, let's do this while I'm editing here. What show did we absolutely hate?
Oh God.
That would be one of them.
Yeah. 100%.
Moody Mogul, how are you?
Let's see. What? Dallas.
Yeah.
Falcon Crest.
Oh, I hated that.
90210.
Didn't like that.
Like yeah.
Luke Perry with the sideburns back in the day. Oh, I wanted to do, and that. Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, I don't mean to talk ill of those who have passed. Okay, because apparently he was a very, very nice man.
Yes.
Okay, but let's be honest. I mean, his head had to be at least 2.5 feet in length.
Too soon? Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's not too soon.
Another show. I and everybody liked it. Well, not everybody. A lot of people. Gilligan's Island.
Oh, see, I didn't mind Gilligan's Island.
No. The first couple was okay or whatever. Then it was like, oh, I can see where this is going already, and I'm only 7. Like,
when Unsolved Mysteries started getting into, all they did was missing people.
Yeah.
It became from doing all the weird topics
True.
to all of a sudden every show is like, people missing.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on.
I'm Robert Stack or whatever.
He scared the hell out of all of us. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And then who's the guy that did Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Do you remember the comedy show Bizarre?
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Super Dave Osborne.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
And Fuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandra Kincaid, I agree with you. Anything Housewives.
Oh, 100%. Goodbye.
If it's on MTV, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah. Not like back in the day when
Can we just bring music back to MTV?
Right?
What was wrong with What Works?
Yeah, true. I liked MTV back in the day.
Or how about that show where people had the weird addictions, like the guy was in love with his car, or the lady would chew glass,
or the one that would eat that hair out of the drain and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, My Strained Addiction. I think it was called.
The one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Where's Carol? I think she's in the bathroom again. Carol, stop eating the hair out of the drain. What?
Then you get the guy who's like making out with his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was horrible.
What was the one that Rogan did for a while?
Oh yeah, where all they ever ate was bull balls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
if you're from Alberta,
let's just be honest here. They were starting to get gross.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, I don't know how they passed that stuff off as healthy.
No.
Fear Factor. That's
what it was.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Still loved All in the Family, though.
Oh, I hated it all.
Did you? I loved it. Loved it. My grandfather got me into that as a little kid. Come here, sit down, watch this.
I used to hate everything with Ricky Schroeder in it.
Oh, my good God.
Yeah. Could not stand Ricky Schroeder.
Was it Silver Spoons?
Yeah.
See,
Anything Ricky Schroeder.
I was a latchkey
That's
kid. Can remember all those shows. I was like,
Oh, well, you have to.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. I think the big thing for me is when I was a little kid is you knew when the Wednesday after school special was on, and everybody was itching to get out of class. Everybody was running home to watch the after school special. That was probably, you were not even born.
You were like in grade 2 when I was born.
Yeah,
Grade 3.
I think so. Something like that.
Uh-huh. Oh, man. Lawrence Welk show.
Oh, my
Yeah,
nana and my
or
grandpa.
Where in Canada we had Tommy Hunter. And then the Rita McNeil show, because apparently CBC thought that was going to be popular.
Yeah. Rita. With my special guest, Anne Murray. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was always
Yeah,
Anne
I
Murray.
I know.
It was always
Oh.
Anne Murray. Why always
Oh.
Anne Murray?
Yep. Then every once in a while you get lucky and Bruno Gerussi would show up or something. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And Brett Butt now is the new Bruno Gerussi.
Oh, yeah.
He's everywhere. And
Yeah.
you know what? That guy is not funny. I
No.
watched him live.
Yeah.
Like during the World Juniors in 2006, they brought him out and he was
Yeah.
trying to do jokes on the ice
Mhm.
in front of people.
Yep.
And it was the worst crap I've ever heard.
He's
not funny.
No, as a stand-up, I don't think he is either. I think that the way that they wrote Corner Gas and stuff
Yeah.
was kind of, that worked, but
It's like Eugene Levy's son is not funny.
no, not at all.
Not funny at all. You know? He's riding dad's coattails like
Oh, yeah.
anything here.
Yeah.
And he's not funny.
Yeah. What's that? Schitt's Creek? And
That was a funny show. Take him out of it, though.
yeah. Well, he was an executive producer, right? I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
I wonder how they got away with that title.
Executive producer?
No, Schitt's Creek.
It's CBC.
True.
I mean, when you were a young kid, the late night movie was always something from France or had subtitles.
Yeah, like Eugene Levy is funny.
Oh, he's hilarious. I love Eugene Levy.
Yeah. Yes, Mary Tyler Moore was terrible too.
Yeah.
Anything with Ed Asner in it.
I know.
Like, Ed, go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Except Up when he played the old when he was the voice of that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I wasn't a Mary Tyler Moore fan. Rhoda. Hi, I'm Carlton, your doorman. Yeah.
Yeah, Gilmore Girls is irritating.
Never
My
watched
parents
it.
are rich, so I hate them. My parents are rich and they want to help out me and my daughter, so I hate them.
Oh.
And I'm going to blame everything on my parents because they're rich.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
watched it.
And so I'm going to live a poor life where I can't afford things. And
I'm going to be a martyr?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm gonna
nice.
be a martyr. And my parents try and be nice, but they're rich, and so they're bad people.
Okay.
I honestly liked Gilmore Girls for a little bit,
Mhm.
but after because Miss Eswar is addicted to Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
And then I think after like the second time watching it around,
Mhm.
I was like, I ain't watching this anymore.
Yeah.
Because she is so mean to her parents. So mean to her parents, and all because they're rich.
Never watched a single moment of that show.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald was hilarious.
He crossed that line so many times. I loved him.
You know what, though, with Norm Macdonald, and I will say this because he was one of our great comedians that
Oh, yeah.
crossed the border. But he had that type of humor that only a Canadian would get.
Yeah, he did reference a lot of our slang and our culture in his comedy. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. By the way, for people who are out there like my troll, who think I don't go after people to interview them, I have put out a request to Jake Barber.
Nice.
And a couple others.
Hopefully he doesn't sit here like that.
Well, when you have aha caught you moments.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of, I don't know, on the fence about it. I'm not sure what's going on there, but
what other show did I hate as a kid? Oh man. Any soap opera. I hated any soap opera, but that's all just.
Yeah. The stories. Watching my stories. What?
Yeah. Little House on the Prairie.
I like that guy. I used to watch it with my daughter.
Not me, man. And you know how you can tell a true Canadian from one that hasn't been a Canadian that long? If they like Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Anne of Green Gables is so freaking painful.
Yeah. Still like The Littlest Hobo, though. That dog was awesome.
Littlest Hobo, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the Canadian version of Lassie.
Yeah, but cooler.
Way cooler. We used a husky.
Yeah, nobody fell in a well.
No, but they got stuck to train tracks.
That's right. Help, little Timmy's stuck in a well.
That train was always a quarter mile away.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's Timmy, boy. I'd be chaining that kid to a fence.
The Waltons could go in the garbage too.
Oh, yeah. I had a neighbor, my best friend when I was growing up, a big family, and they used to watch it.
Oh,
and we were like, okay.
Oh, I couldn't stand it. No, couldn't stand it. No. Yeah, even the Brady Bunch bugged me.
Brady Bunch made me nuts.
Yep.
If life's problems could be solved in a half an hour, just like the Brady Bunch. Still liked it when I was growing up as a kid watching JP Patches, though. First thing in the morning on Cairo 7. It was the morning show for kids, and he was he was a clown, and he was the mayor of the city dump.
No,
he is actually JP Patches is a monstrous figure in Seattle and in Washington. It's like, man,
never saw him. But if it's a clown, no.
Oh no, he wasn't that. Yeah, I get it. I hate clowns, but no, different.
No, don't like clowns. I don't know what I dislike more, clowns or people waving at me when they're in a parade. I really don't know what I hate
Hi,
more.
Dave. Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave.
It drives me nuts. Oh, I can't stand parade people.
8 is enough. Oh my good God.
Oh, that bowl cut. Yeah. Where every child's boy actor had that same.
Yeah. Adam Rich.
Adam Rich.
Oh my God. Boom. Where'd that come from?
God, my God, you should be on Jeopardy.
No.
Or Willie Ames was in everything.
That's
too.
right. Yeah.
I think he
with
was
Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Chachi.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Good old Willie Ames.
In the Heat of the Night.
Oh, that was terrible.
Archie Bunker. Carol O'Connor. And yeah, that's right. I like the Andy Griffith Show. I always like those old black and white.
Not me.
Yeah. Fantasy Island.
I loved Fantasy Island as a kid.
With the Hervé Village.
Couldn't stand Love Boat.
Oh God. No. My mom liked it.
No, not me, man.
Saturday nights.
Could not stand Love Boat.
Three's Company.
Depended on who do you have.
Mhm.
What were the three? There was
Joyce DeWitt,
Chrissy,
Janet,
Janet, and then
Jack.
And then what was the third one? Terry.
Oh, was she replaced? There was more.
Yeah, well, they fired the middle one because she had posed in Playboy.
Suzanne Summers?
No, after Suzanne Summers, the tall blonde.
Oh,
With the
okay.
big teeth.
Yeah. That's right. And then they brought Terry in after that.
Yeah.
Go down to the Regal Beagle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what was a good show? If you ever get a chance to watch the entire series, is How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah. Welcome Back, Cotter.
I liked Welcome Back.
Yeah, me
Cotter.
too.
Yeah.
Happy Days.
Happy Days was cool.
Yeah, well, the Fonz, right?
Yeah. Knight Rider was good.
I hated that show.
How could you hate Knight Rider?
I don't know. I didn't have the patience for it or something. Yeah.
How do you hate Knight
Because
Rider?
I don't like Hasselhoff. Well, I didn't. Anything that David Hasselhoff's in, it's like, oh my God, it's like Tom Cruise. Anything Tom Cruise is in, it's just Tom Cruise playing a part. Like I never got into their characters. It's like Lou Gossett Jr., same thing. It's like, oh God, it's Lou Gossett Jr. Yeah.
I was driving down the Highway 1
Mhm.
when I was working at the radio station. I was coming back from work.
Yeah.
And you know the hill in between Langley and Aldergrove?
Yep.
Go up the big hill.
Mhm.
Going up that hill, and I see a black Trans Am, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And sure enough, man, no full steering wheel like the race car steering wheel.
Mhm.
I pull in. I'm like, no way. Pull in front, and here's the red line going back.
Oh,
and
no
forth.
way.
I'm like, I got a kit car right beside me. Night Industries 2000 rules. Airwolf was good.
Yeah. Jan Michael Vincent.
Yeah. I could not stand MacGyver.
Oh, no.
No, couldn't stand MacGyver.
I was on an episode of that.
Or 21 Jump Street. I used to watch 21 Jump Street until Johnny Depp had his tantrum about hating Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. I knew a guy that worked on 21 Jump Street, and he was electrician, so lighting tech.
Yeah.
And he'd do stuff on the side for musicians, for bands and stuff like that. And he said the biggest goof on that whole crew was Johnny Depp. He said, but DeLuise, I can't remember what Don DeLuise's son.
Yeah.
One of the nicest guys. Such a nice guy. I was like, oh, cool.
But you look at Johnny Depp now, does anything for kids.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And he's got a musician too, right?
I watched a story on him that no matter where he travels in the world, he always has his Jack Sparrow costume.
Yeah, that's what I've heard
and
too.
then just shows up at children's hospitals or hospices.
Yeah.
Just to talk with kids.
Which is super cool.
Totally cool. He's done that in Vancouver a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Hey, Skip, how are you?
Skippy. Well, that's another show. Who's Skippy? With Michael J. Fox.
Oh, what was the show called? What was Michael? Justine Bateman.
Yeah.
What the hell was it called?
Oh my God. Somebody.
And the ugly Tina Yothers.
Yeah, Tina Yothers. Oh my God, yeah.
Remember they tried to put her on the talk show circuit?
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible.
Yeah. Well,
like
Family Ties.
We didn't.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you. We didn't want to. We didn't want to hear you on Family Ties. We sure as hell don't want to hear you on having your own talk show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
It's terrible. Ricky Lake. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, but and then she went to a talk show, but she came off of that TV show. What was it called? China Beach, about Vietnam. Yeah. She was a nurse in that. And
that wasn't Ricky Lake.
Yeah, Ricky was in that.
Was she?
Yep. She was actually, and I'm not being derogatory, she was very, very, very large during that.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, she was quite big.
Or anything with Carney Wilson in it. We went through the Carney Wilson kick there for a while.
Yep.
Okay. Didn't like her.
No.
You know?
Baywatch.
I know Rob G was a big fan of Carney Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love the Carney Files.
And he hated Baywatch. Yeah, because this had David Hasselhoff in it.
Baywatch was terrible.
Yeah.
Never watched it.
No. Because Pam ruined herself there. Remember when she was the blue girl?
People don't realize how Pam was found. She was actually found at a BC Lions football game. They put her up on the big camera.
Absolutely.
And a member of the Labatt's Brewery promo team was there, saw her on the big camera, and was like, find her now.
Yep. Yeah. Those old pictures of her when she was the Labatt's blue girl, she was absolutely beautiful.
See if I can find that.
Yeah. She's
Pamela Anderson Labatt. There we go.
just natural, right? She would just,
Yeah, there she is. I'm going to bring her up here.
Yep.
Hold on.
Hometown girl.
There she is. 1 second. Yeah. This is the Pamela Anderson that us Canadians love.
Yes.
Hold on. Right here. Good Island girl.
Yeah. She lives there full time now.
Is she full time there now?
Yeah. No. There she is.
Yeah. Stunning.
Acid wash jeans. 80.
This would have been about 86, 87, 88. Yeah. That's the one that got her all done.
Yeah. Right, sitting in the blue zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, whatever.
Yep.
Hollywood took its toll.
Totally took its toll. Totally.
So did apparently Tommy Lee. No, anyway.
Ooh.
But
Wow. But you start pulling a Tommy Lee.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Before that, Brett Michaels.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we can go through the list, but
Yeah.
hated Columbo.
Oh, yeah. You never knew which way Peter was looking.
Well, no. And the thing is I found out, weird trivia thing, when he was doing the show, and when he always went like that on his forehead,
Yeah.
he was looking for his mark on the floor.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's the only reason he did it, because he couldn't see.
Yeah.
So tell me, man. Okay, where am I supposed to go here?
I don't know.
No, I like Night Stalker with Kolchak. Back in Darren McGavin.
Don't remember.
Whoa. If you can dig up some of those.
You're older than me, remember?
Dude. Yeah. Anybody remember? Anybody remember it? Come on, support me on this one. The Night Stalker. And it was the woo, man. He was a journalist, and he was he went out and he went out and he looked for the weird stuff, and there was the serial Jack the Ripper guy that had come and was murdering women in the alleys, and he'd find them, and then the monsters that lived in the swamps and or in the manhole covers and shit. It was good. I loved it. He used to freak me out.
Oh, I just want to say one quick thing on the whole politics thing right now. If you were on my Facebook, say we're Facebook friends, and you're like going extreme right or left with every post and carving people and everything, I'm going to delete you.
Yeah.
I deleted a lefty and a righty today.
Mm-hmm.
Just tired of it. Like,
yeah.
Settle down and breathe.
Yeah.
Right. So just done with it.
I don't
want to see it on my Facebook page. So
no,
I'm just deleting now. So
mm-hmm.
Just wanted to let everybody know. I don't mind you mentioning politics or anything, but
yeah,
when it's getting hardcore on either side, it's just blah.
Yeah. Don't need to call each other names. And
Vanessa, I have 3,000 people on my Facebook. I see 7% of the people. So I apologize that I'm not focusing in on your Facebook. Yeah. So either way, if all of a sudden you don't find me on your Facebook page anymore, it's because your politics have kind of pushed me away.
Yeah.
No matter what side you're on, unless you're insulting Trudeau. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you do that, then we're all in.
That's all that matters, That's all that matters. Anyways, everybody, we're going to say goodnight here to all of you. Tomorrow night on the show, we have... Who do we have? Mike Ricksecker is joining us. We're going to get into time travel and the Mandela effect. Time travel and the Mandela effect tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you to Jason ×2, Deborah Rooney, Gizmo, and Area 53 for the super chats tonight. Yes, my two dads sucked big time.
Yep.
So did 2.5 Men. No, it was a terrible show. It's terrible. Terrible. All right, everybody. See you later. As the captain says, aye, aye, goodbye.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.